You must go to the store and buy gift cards.
Stop! It's a scam!
My uncle works at a hedge fund and gives me insider trading tips. Download this trading app.
Stop! It's a scam!
My bank suddenly needs my password, my pay-in, and my first pet's social security number.
Stop! It's a scam!
This is urgent. You can't hang up.
Get lost, scammer.
It's your bank, message on your phone. Jared says pause, don't tap that alone. Spelling kinda shaky, logo looks strange. Why they in a hurry, what's the real game? Dave Cruz jumps in, check that URL. Little extra letter, rings like a bell. If they want your code, that's your front door key. Real ones never ask, just trust me. Scam awareness 101, we don't click quick, we don't just run. Stop, read it line by line. If it smells off, then hit decline. Scam awareness 101, learn the tricks, then tell someone. We keep each other safe, that's how it's done. Scam awareness. Scam awareness. 101. John gets a call, your grandkid's stuck. Voice sounds shaky, begging for $1. Jared hits speaker, asks one more thing. What's their middle name? What's their first dog spring? Nigella's on email, congrats, you won. Prize looks fancy, fees day one.
All right, welcome everybody to the weekly live stream. It's good to be back. We took last week off to see Guns N' Roses in concert, but now we're back this week to bring you all the scam awareness information you need to protect yourself and your loved ones from being scammed. Say hi in the chat. Let me know you're watching. Shout out to Dave. Shout out to John. Good to see you over there. Always. Most loyal and dedicated fans I got out there. I appreciate you. If it's your first time joining, welcome to the live stream. I'm Jared with Scamware 101. And our mission over here at Scamware 101 is to spread awareness of common scams that target you, your loved ones, your friend, your family, right? Because they're being targeted from all directions. And awareness, really, is your best defense against scammers. Because a lot of times, if you get scammed, you lose your money, you're not going to get it back. You know, there are no second chances. So we believe awareness is your best defense. And our mission here is to spread awareness. And what we do is, besides our social media presence, where we share scam awareness tips, we do this weekly live stream. And on this weekly live stream, we discuss 20 different common scams that are targeting you. We go over red flags to help you recognize and identify those scams. And we show you real examples of email scams, phone call scams, text message scams, even some snail mail scams that you might receive in the post office. Because, scammers, they don't discriminate. They use all forms of communication to target you. So, if you want to support what we do out here, make sure to hit that like button. Like, follow, subscribe. We're on all your favorite social media platforms. Make sure to join our free mailing list on our website, scamaware101.com. You just head over to the website and click Join Mailing List. It's free to join. We also have some merch for sale. You can check it out on our YouTube store or our gift shop link we have on the website as well. You can get some mugs that I have right here, coffee travel mug. And we have some water bottles, mouse pads, and other merch that could help support the mission. We appreciate it. But hey, times are tough. We get it. So we're happy with some likes, some follows, some subscribes. Just help us spread awareness of these scams. We're trying to put something good out there, So, and we also have subscriptions enabled on YouTube. So shout out to Dave, who subscribes. Appreciate you. And we have super thanks enabled as well. So if you want to send a couple bucks that way, we appreciate it. And then lastly, we also accept donations on our website, scamaware101.com/donate. So we appreciate any help you could give us. But with that said, let's get into some of these scams. We have some new ones we're going to talk about this week that we haven't really covered in the past. So that's exciting. And we're going to jump right into it here. And one of the first scams we're going to talk about this week, and again, it's a newer one that we haven't covered yet, are fake Evite scams. This one's starting to become more popular and more common. It's when scammers send fake Evite emails and they impersonate popular services like Evite, Punchbowl, and the realistic looking emails, they'll include a malicious link that could download malware onto your device, or it could steal your logins as well. We're seeing that a lot, where when people click the link to RSVP or to view the fake Evite, it takes them to a fake login page and it steals their email information. And what's interesting about this type of scam is once it steals your login or infects your device, either way, it then tries to infect your friends by emailing all your contacts. So it'll email your contacts another fake Evite, and it'll attempt to get them the same way it tricked you. So what's dangerous about this is you get these Evites, whether it's from Punchbowl or Evite.com, right? And they look official. They have the logos on it. Sometimes they have a blue envelope, sometimes a white envelope, sometimes a different design. There's been different variations reported over the past few months. But the email might actually come from a legit friend's legit email, a real email address, because they got infected, right? So just because you get this Evite in your email and it looks like it came from your friend, it actually came from their email address, that doesn't mean you could trust it, right? And that's why this one's starting to spread so much. Is a lot of times people get the email, they see it came from their friend, and they think I could trust it. They don't realize that their friend got hacked. And we're seeing this happen to a lot in groups, right? Where groups of friends start getting all these Evites from each other. That's because they got infected, right? So let's be aware of this one. If you get any kind of Evite like this in your email, whether it's from Punchbowl or Evite, it should actually be coming from their website. It should be coming from an evite.com address, not your friend's email address, first of all. But the best practice is not to click the link, right? Don't click the link. Instead, reach out to who supposedly sent you the Evite and confirm they actually sent it. You know, especially if you weren't expecting it. If you weren't expecting the Evite and it doesn't really make sense, right? It's talking about, like, for example, this one says a celebration of life, right? And nobody you know has anything going on like that. You reach out to who sent it to you and find out, hey, you send me this Evite, because chances are they didn't. Chances are they're infected and they're sending out the emails to all their friends without realizing it, right? Spreading the virus. So watch out for this one. Let me know in the chat if you've been targeted with this type of scam, or you know someone who has. I got a couple of reports this week about this one. So watch out for it. And again, you get these Evites, the best thing to do, don't click a link, especially if you weren't expecting it. Don't click the link. Instead, reach out to the person who supposedly sent it to you and confirm, right? And then let them know that they're infected, right? If they're sending out these Evites, that means more of their friends are getting these, right? So be aware of this one. Don't fall for it, and spread the word. That's the first scam of the evening that we're talking about here. And you can see the examples. We have the Evite example, the Punchbowl example, but again, it could vary, right? There's been different variations of this scam circulating. So just be aware. Any suspicious Evites you get, you know, no matter how legit they look, don't trust the link, right? Don't click the link. And that's a good rule of thumb when it comes to scam awareness and prevention, is never to click the links. If you could avoid clicking a link, then don't click it, right? It's not worth taking the risk. So watch out for this scam. I'm going to be doing a video about this one on our YouTube channel soon. So we'll release a more detailed video that covers this scam a little bit more, share some more scam examples. But I wanted to get the word out there here on the live stream and get ahead of it for all of you. So watch out for this one. Warn your friends. Don't fall for it. And if you don't have any friends and you're getting Evites, then you know it's a scam, right? So anyway, let's take a look at the next scam we're going to talk about here. And this is actually a group of scams. We're going to talk about social media scams, right? Specifically Facebook comments. But the scams we're going to cover now, they really apply to all social media. So I don't think I'm picking on Facebook. You know, if you're watching over there on Facebook Live, don't go banning me or anything, Mark Zuckerberg. You know, this applies to all social media platforms, right? But basically, these comment scams, there's so many schemes going on in the comments where criminals post deceptive messages, right? And they're trying to reach you through the comments because they know if they message you directly, the filter's going to block it, right? So instead, they target you in the comments, whether it's a comment on your post or they reply to something you commented on, right? And they use this to lure you in. And some examples of scams that you might run into in the Facebook comments or on social media in general. And we'll start with a fake prize and sweepstakes scam. And what's important to note about this scam is it's not just in Facebook comments you got to watch out. This is actually a classic scam where you're told that you won a prize or you won a sweepstakes, but it's actually a trick. It's actually a scam. They're going to try to get you to pay fees and taxes on the winnings, or they're going to try to steal your personal information. It's a very common scam. But on the examples that you can see on my screen here, these were taken right from Facebook comments. And you can see that a lot of times they impersonate. They impersonate a celebrity. In these examples, Reba McEntire fans, right? They impersonate a fan club for Reba McEntire. And they say, congratulations. You have been selected as one of the random winners. Your name has appeared on the winning list. Please get back to me upon receiving this message. All right, well, if you get back to that person, now they got past the filters, you're communicating with them, and they're going to scam you. Okay. You can see the other impersonation here. It says the Eagle 100.9. So they impersonate a radio station saying, Jessica, congratulations. You've been chosen as today's winner. Visit my page. It's a scam. Don't do it. Right. And by the way, this isn't how sweepstakes work, especially if you didn't enter any sweepstakes. For you to suddenly get contacted about a sweepstake, that's suspicious. Right. Then you see the other example here. Toby Mac giveaways. You won. Visit my profile. Right. Again, these are all in comments. They seem innocent enough, but they're a scam. So don't get fooled by these Facebook comments saying you won a prize or a sweepstakes. All right. Be suspicious. Keep your guard up. Another example of some social media comment scams they might run into is harmful comment links. Right. Scammers love targeting you with malicious links. We just talked about the fake links that are in that email, Evite, right? They target you with email links, text message links, right? And now they target you in the Facebook comments as well with links. And what's interesting about this specific version of these malicious links scam, a lot of times what they'll do is they'll reply to a news post, breaking news, right? In fact, if you're on social media and you go look at some of your any news pages that you follow, a lot of times you'll see their breaking news. They have comments from these scammers in there. And what the scammers like to do is, because they know there's lots of people watching and it's breaking news and there's still confusion over what's going on, what these scammers like to do is they'll pretend that they saw something, that they witnessed the event, they took a video of the event, or they have some info that's not being shown on media, and they'll say, click this link. Right? So for example, this person says, I saw it all unfold live. Here's the raw footage they're not showing. And it's trying to link you to a fake website. Right? There's another one. I managed to record the moment it happened. And there's a link to the fake website. Right? You click those links, they're going to try to affect with malware, might try to steal some logins. Nothing good is going to come from clicking those links. Right? Here's another comment. I froze for a second, then hit record button. This is what I saw. It's all scam. You click that link, you're going to get taken to a malicious website. So watch out for that. Harmful comment links on social media. What's up, Liz? Welcome to the live stream. Good to see you. We're back this week. Missed everybody last week, but it's good to be back. And the next scam you might run into on social media in the comments are messages requesting friend requests or a message from a stranger, right? They're asking you to send them a message, right? Why don't they just send you a message directly? Because they'll get blocked. So what they do is they leave you a comment saying, hey, send me a friend request. Hey, send me a message, right? Sometimes they'll say they have something private to tell you. Other times they'll say, you seem nice, let's be friends. But this is all a way to get in and past the filters so then they can proceed with their scam, right? And here's some examples of that. Here's a comment. Hello, sorry for the inconvenience. I saw your profile. It is really very interesting. You seem like a great person, so I'd really like to have you as a friend. I think we can keep in touch since I am new here on Facebook. Please send me a friend request. I'm waiting to accept you. It's a scam, right? What's going to happen is if you add this person to your friends and you reply, eventually they're going to try to target you with probably a crypto scam, get you to invest in something and steal your money. It might be a romance scam, right? There's another one. Jim, I have some questions for you. Could you please send me a private message or add me as a friend? Right? This is a bot. It's not even a real person. This is a bot that's leaving these messages and it's trying to get people to interact with them and engage with them. Right? And then there's another one. Debbie, text me on messages, please. I just want to ask you something important. It's private. It's all a scam, right? Look, this goes back to what we're told as children, right? Don't trust strangers, right? You got to be suspicious. Don't trust strangers. This is just a new version of that. Instead of the stranger pulling up in a white van, now they're sending you comments on social media. Welcome to the future. So don't trust strangers. And it's very suspicious if people you don't know are leaving you comments and friend requests, or especially if they're just saying, I have something to tell you, and it just doesn't make sense. It sounds suspicious. It probably is. Don't fall for it. Right. So just a quick review of that, right? Never click links in the comments, right? Never trust those links that people you don't know are leaving. Right? Be suspicious of any type of fake, any prize or sweepstakes alert saying you won. Definitely be suspicious, especially on social media. Right? And look, you might be asking, well, what's the big deal if these people are sending me friend requests and messages? Because it usually evolves into a romance scam or a pig butchering scam, which we're actually going to talk about next here. So watch out for social media scams. They're a big problem. They're getting worse and worse every year. And I believe it just took over as a #1 initiation method for scams. You know, you would think it'd be phone calls or text, but actually it's social media now. So watch out for these scammers. They're there. By the way, if you haven't hit that like button yet, hit that like button. Let's see if we get some more people in here. We're just getting started. We're going until about 8 o'clock this evening. So lots of good stuff to cover and talk about. So plenty of time to share this live stream. Get some friends here and watching. Hit that like button. Give us some reactions. And say hi in the chat if you're lurking. By the way, we're streaming live on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Shout out to John the Baptist 42 on Instagram if you're there and watching. Not sure if I caught you in time there, but we're mainly monitoring the YouTube chat. So if you want to ask questions or share your stories, YouTube chat is the quickest way to get a response from me. But we are streaming also on Instagram and Facebook as well. So wherever you're watching, hit that like button. Give us a follow. We appreciate it. This next scam we're going to talk about, pig butchering scams. So this is when a scammer builds a fake relationship with victims online. And it doesn't even, romantic or not, just it's a fake friendship that they built with someone online. And then convinces them to invest in something, right? And this scammer will take the victim's money in the process. Okay. Now, these scams are extremely dangerous, these pig butchering scams, because they're designed to take everything you have. They're long-term deception scams where they build up your trust first. For example, that person that sent you a friend request on Facebook and a message on Facebook, they're going to start for the first week. They're just going to be all friendly with you. How was your day? How are you doing? Sharing stories, this and that. It's all part of the scam. And then about a week or so later, once they gain your trust, that's when they're going to say, hey, I'm making some money investing. You should join our investment group, right? Or hey, I need some help. There's an emergency. Could you send me some money, right? But they build up the trust first. The investment scam, the pig butchering scam, is extremely dangerous because their goal is to get you to invest everything you have. So many victims, they've lost their entire life savings, their entire retirement fund, everything they've lost to these pig butchering scams. There's even been cases where these scammers, they'll tell their victims to sell their car, take a loan, right? And they promise these amazing returns, but it's all a scam. And look, you might be thinking to yourself, well, how would somebody fall for that? Well, again, these are very advanced long-term scams. And what I mean by that is they'll even let the victim withdraw some money at first. They'll say, look at all the money you made from this investment, and they'll let them withdraw a little bit of it. So the victim feels safe. Like, oh, okay, I could get my money back. So it must not be a scam, right? But that's all part of it. They want to gain the trust. So the victim ends up putting in more and more money, including their life savings. Also, what these pig butchering scams do is they have websites and apps, right? They're completely fake. They look so legit and real, right? But these fake websites and fake apps, the victims think that they're actually using trading websites and trading apps, right? They don't realize that it's a completely fraudulent and fake app. And the apps and the fake websites designed to show returns. So you're investing all this money and you're seeing all these amazing returns, but it's all fake. None of it's real. The only real part is you're investing money and it's disappearing, right? So look, be very careful about these pig butchering scams. If somebody online that you don't know personally, that you've never met, right, and they're telling you, hey, I got a great investment thing going and I have a family member, right? So here's some of the common storylines they'll say. And you'll hear this a lot when you hear from the victims. They'll say, my uncle and aunt is an expert investor, or her sister's an investor, right? They'll say they have a private investment group or invitation-only group that you could join, right? They'll say they learned this investing trick while they were overseas, right? Those are common narratives that these scammers use to make you think that you're getting in on some kind of secret deal, right? And again, they get very advanced with these fake websites, fake apps. They're using AI to generate videos to seem more realistic. They have these fake investment groups that they'll invite you to join, right? It might be a WhatsApp group or a Discord group, right? Or a Telegram chat. But in them, they'll have bots to make it seem like there's an actual interest in this investment. But it's a scam. You need to watch out for it. Don't fall for it, right? Never send money to someone you've never met, right? You just can't trust it. There's so many scams out there. So be careful, and also be suspicious. Somebody tells you to download an app. If somebody you don't know tells you to download any kind of app, be suspicious. All right, so watch out for these pig butchering scams. Anybody mentions crypto online, be suspicious, especially if they're trying to tell you to send money. All right, and again, these scams, they start as something as simple as a wrong number text message that we'll talk about in a little bit. They'll start as something as simple as a social media comment or message. All right, all these things that seem like innocent enough, they lead to these terrible scams. So watch out for these pig butchering scams. Big problem online, right? If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Now let's talk about romance scams. Okay, this is when fraudsters, they'll create fake online profiles to establish a romantic relationship, ultimately manipulating victims into sending money or personal information. And they'll prey on emotional vulnerability, and they'll claim financial and medical emergencies to try and get money from their emotionally attached victim. Right? And this is also a big problem. A lot of money is getting lost to these types of scammers. Victims being targeted through social media. Right? Again, they start from a simple friend request or a simple message, right? And it evolves into a romantic thing, but it's actually a scam, right? They'll start on the dating websites where they'll create the fake dating profiles and get connected with victims, and they'll continue to scam by talking to them on WhatsApp, for example. It starts with wrong number scams. You seem nice, let's be friends, right? And then it evolves, and next thing you know, they're asking you to send money, right? It's very suspicious. You can't trust it, right? Never send money to somebody you haven't met. And some common scam narratives that these romance scammers will use, right? The reason why they can't meet, for example, they'll say they're in the military and deployed overseas, right? Very common narrative that these romance scammers use. They'll say that they're working on an oil rig and they're stationed on an offshore rig, right? That's another common narrative these scammers use. They'll say they're an international worker and they're overseas on business, right? These are three common excuses they use not to meet you in person. Right. So if you hear that, that should be a red flag to you. Okay. These scammers, they fabricate emergencies. They'll say that they need money for medical bills, legal issues, visa or passport fees, flight or travel expenses. Right. Say, I'd love to fly and finally be with you, but we got to resolve this visa issue and these passport issues. Could you send me some money? Or could you send me money for travel expenses? Right. But it's all part of their scam. Okay. They'll ask for gift cards. They'll ask for Bitcoin. They'll tell you to use OnePay over at Walmart. They'll tell you to wire money. All these unusual forms of payment, which we'll talk about more later in the live stream. But it's those unusual forms of payment for a reason. When someone's asking you to make payment that way, be suspicious. There's a big red flag that you're dealing with a scammer. And again, these scammers, they're using AI, right? They'll send you fake photos. They'll send you fake videos. They're able to change their voice and create voice memos that sound, it could be a dude in Pakistan. They'll sound like a American Girl Next Door, the way they use AI, right? So this goes back to that rule: trust in strangers. Always be suspicious when talking to strangers online, right? And never send money to someone you don't know, right? That's rule number one. You've never met them, don't send them money. Okay. Fun documentary about this type of scam is the Tinder Swindler. It's over on Netflix. So if you want to watch an entertaining documentary on this type of scam, where unfortunately victims lose hundreds of thousands of dollars to these scammers, now check out the Tinder Swindler, on Netflix. But here's something new that I'm going to share. Speaking of AI and how AI is being used by scammers, look, scammers use it to clone voices, to clone video, to make their scams more believable. And I figured I'd do something a little fun, a little different this week. Is I cloned myself and made a video, right? And what I mean by that is, like I said, these scammers, they'll tell you that they're stationed offshore on an oil rig, and that's why they can't get together. Right? Well, look at this. There I am on an oil rig. Right? Looks pretty legit to me. But it's not just an image, it's a video. Watch this. This is how easy it is to generate videos like this now.
Hey, I just wanted to explain why I'm hard to reach sometimes. I'm back out on the rig again, and the signal out here is pretty unreliable. It's loud, it's busy, and I don't always get a chance to talk like I want to. But I didn't want you to think I was ignoring you. I'm not.
All right, so you see that? That's a completely AI-generated video. I've never been on an oil rig in my life. I don't own that hard hat or that vest or nothing. Right? That's how easy it is and how realistic these videos could be now. Right? AI is there. We've reached a point where it's very hard to tell the difference. Right? So how's the volume on? I'm going to play one more time. Let me know what the volume's
I
good.
just wanted to explain why I'm hard to reach sometimes. I'm back out on the rig again, and the signal out here is pretty unreliable. It's loud, it's busy, and I don't always get a chance to talk like I want to. But I didn't want you to think I was ignoring you. I'm not.
That's what these romance scammers do. It's not hard for them to generate videos like this. Okay? And sure, they'll send you these videos and they're going to ask you for money. Right? So watch out for that. It's very advanced. And regarding AI and scams, there was actually a media report on this about voice cloning. So I'm just going to play that real quick for you. It was just a video I grabbed from a media report the other day.
He says criminals just need a 20-second clip of someone talking, often pulled from social media, and they can make an eerily similar clone of their voice.
All the way to the point that a mother can't tell the difference between her own child and a machine.
It was just exactly like Noah. It was unbelievable. It's scary.
Jerry Scally got a call from his grandson Noah last month saying that he was having a very bad morning.
I said, what happened? What's wrong? He says, I was involved in a car accident and I have a broken nose.
But then Scally thought something sounded off about the voice. The person on the call spoke a little slower than his grandson, so he hung up and likely avoided a scam. His grandson was actually at school just fine.
These are sophisticated groups of people. They're often overseas. They're working out of an office building.
IDIQ says voice cloning scams are relatively new. They've only started getting reports about them within the past year.
You know, the worst part of this is every week we're getting more calls. We're seeing more victims. And the reason we're seeing more victims is because it's effective.
Right. So there you have it. They're using voice clips. All they need is a 20-second voice clip from someone, and they can generate a voice that sounds just like yours. And he mentions that was used in a grandparent scam, right? He got a call from, his grandson or his son saying that they'd been in an accident, right? And that's known as a grandparent scam. And it sounds just like that relative now because scammers can clone your voice. All right. So, I mean, there's no hope for me. There's so many videos of me. My voice is probably getting cloned left and right now. So watch out. You hear the Jersey accent. Watch out. But yeah, so these AI scam threats, they've gotten really advanced. Even the emails and text messages that go out, they seem much more realistic, right? Because they use AI now, less misspellings and grammar issues. Very realistic. So the scammers have adapted. Watch out. Be suspicious of everything. Next, let's talk about employment scams. This is a big one. The job listing promises great pay, but requires the victim to pay upfront for training, supplies, or something else. It's not a real job, right? And we're going to talk about, well, first, here's a couple examples of these text messages they might receive. Of course, they all sound way too good to be true. Right, this first example, it says, hello, my name is Lisa. I'm a recruiter at CleanSpark. Several recruiting firms have recommended your resume, so our company has an online job for you. Right, it goes on to say that all you have to do is work 30 to 60 minutes per day, make it $200 to $1,000, right? Sounds a little too good to be true. But then the only contact info they give you is a WhatsApp phone number, which, by the way, is always a red flag. They can't leave you a real phone number. They can only give you a WhatsApp phone number. It's very suspicious. And then the other example here impersonates TikTok, the TikTok Recruitment Center. And it goes on to say they're hiring 3,000 TikTok backup talents. And again, flexible hours, 1 hour per day, up to $400 a day, right? Sounds too good to be true. That's because it is. And there's that WhatsApp number that they leave, which is also always a red flag. When the only contact info they could give you is a WhatsApp number, be suspicious. Don't trust it. But the main thing to remember about these employment scams is if they ask you to send money first or to purchase, a lot of times they'll tell you to purchase a laptop and send it to them, right? And they just scammed you out of a laptop. Sometimes they'll send you a fake check, right? And tell you to purchase equipment and then mail it to them. And then the check bounces a couple days later, right? There's no reason that you should ever have to pay to get a job. There's actually a type of employment scam known as a task scam. I think Dave was mentioning these a couple weeks ago when we were talking about it, right? And suppose you get paid to do tasks, clicking like on a video and all these other little minor tasks. But what they do is they try to get you to invest money first and then like to get the tasks. There's a whole scam they got going on. So if you get some kind of job offer, some employment offer, and they're telling you to give them money first, or to purchase something and then send it to them, be suspicious. It's probably a scam. Oh, and one more thing about these employment scams. There's actually a really darker side of this, where there's a human trafficking aspect of this, right? Where people have answered these ads, and it's for a job over in like Bangkok or something like that, overseas. But then they fly overseas thinking that they're going to be working a job, and they actually get trafficked over to a scam call center, right? And they get forced to scam people all day. It's wild, but there are literally scam compounds where people are being held and forced to scam all day long. So, and a lot of those victims ended there because they were answering what they thought was a employment opportunity. So watch out for that. Definitely be suspicious if there's some kind of employment opportunity overseas. You know, don't end up enslaved in a scam center. Next, we're going to talk about here fake retail website scams. This one picks up a lot during the holidays, but they're active all year round, right? And that's basically when scammers create fake websites to sell products that are never delivered. Victims are lured in by unbeatable deals and lose money once they pay. The scams often target holiday shoppers or those seeking trending items, right? And one of these examples of one of these fake retail websites, as you can see here, there's during Black Friday, right? They used Black Friday as an excuse, saying it's Black Friday sale, and they're offering you these free wireless earbuds. Just pay for shipping. Which, by the way, that's a very common scam narrative where you think that there's an offer for a product that's $100, $200, and they say, get it for free, just pay for shipping. Red flags, right? It's very common for them to use that, these scammers. And what's going to happen here is you enter your information, it's actually gets stolen by the scammer. And fun fact, I actually was very surprised to learn this, is as you enter your information, it actually gets logged behind the scenes. So if you type in your credit card number and then you think, wait a minute, this might be a scam, I'm not going to click order. It doesn't matter. They already got it because you typed it in. You didn't have to click order. So any information you're typing, a lot of times is getting logged in real time behind the scenes. So it's not even worth filling in the info and then changing your mind, right? Just don't trust these types of offers. Do your due diligence if you're going to risk it, right? See if there's any reviews on the website, see what other people are saying. If you find no information about the website, that's almost as bad as finding bad information, right? In the case of these websites and scams, when I was doing research, these websites, they were getting no results. They were so new, they weren't even in the search engines yet. And that's a big red flag as well. Some things to note about these fake retail websites, about how you could end up on one of these fake retail websites. Quite a few ways, actually, right? You could end up clicking on an ad on social media. Not to pick on Facebook again, but there's plenty of scam ads on Facebook. They're terrible at taking that stuff down. So, you see an ad pop up, free earbuds, just pay shipping. It could be a scam, right? Just because you see a paid ad on Facebook doesn't mean you could trust it. Same thing with search engine results in Google, right? These scammers, they pay for sponsored listings. This way, when you search for, let's say you're searching for wireless earbuds, they paid, so their link comes up first, right? You click that link and you end up on their fake website. Emails, you get an email, a special valued customer offer or special going out of business sale. Click here for your free earbuds, right? Too good to be true. Probably is. Be suspicious, right? And then website ads and pop-ups. Even if you're on a legit website, one that you know is a legit website, right? And you see an ad on the website, the ad could still be a scam because websites use third-party ad services. So just because you're on a legit website, the ad could still be purchased by a scammer. You click on the ad, you end up on the scam website, right? So you have to be suspicious. Really what it comes down to, it's too good to be true. It probably is. Make sure to do your due diligence, check for reviews, Google a site. Make sure you're actually on the real site and not a fake website that looks like, it's designed to look like a real one. And definitely be on high alert during the holidays. And Dave actually sent us over an example this week of another fake retail website. It was actually a story about Dominos, right? It turned out, this was actually reported in Singapore, but this scam could easily be around the world, right? Anywhere is Domino's Pizza, right? It says police warned of a new phishing scam involving fake Domino's pizza websites. And what happens is victims search for Domino's Pizza and they realize they get taken to the fake Domino's website and their payment details get stolen, right? Because they think they're actually on the real Domino's website. So it's just another example of how these scammers, they think of all these clever new ways to trick you. So definitely be careful when you're searching Google and which websites you end up on. You always want to check and make sure it's the website you meant to be on. So I thought that was an interesting one. Thanks for sending that one over, Dave. I appreciate it. And it's funny, the warning from Domino's here, it says, our pizza is made for sharing, but never with scammers. Domino's urges all customers to be aware of any websites, competitions, advertisements, text messages, or other unsolicited contact that uses a Domino's brand name or logo fraudulently. All right, so gotta be careful when you're searching Google. Could end up on a fake website like this, even if you're just searching for Domino's. So watch out for these fake retail websites. Again, they're common all year round, but especially during the holidays. How we doing out there, everybody? Good to see everybody again. Took off last week. I missed everybody, so I'm glad to be back and seeing everybody this week. We're streaming live, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. If you haven't clicked that like button yet, hit that like button, give us a follow and subscribe. And check out our merch. We have some coffee mugs available and some water bottles and some other merch to help support the cause here. They make great gifts as well to remind that friend or family member that keeps getting scammed to stop getting scammed. All right, we're going to keep going here. Some more common scams to watch out for. Fake order scams. And this is a big one. Make sure to talk about this one every week. It kind of gets a little repetitive, but it's important, right? This is when victims receive a fake notification that an order was made under their account. When the victim calls to dispute the fake order, a scammer impersonates customer support and attempts to steal their personal and financial information, right? This is one of those scams where they trick the victim into calling them. So the victim calls and they have their guard down, right? Because they're actually making the call. And we have a few examples of this to share with you. Right, and the first example here is a text message that impersonates Apple. It says, Apple approval notice. We have noticed that your Apple iCloud ID was recently used at Apple Store for $143 Apple Pay pre-authorization. And then it goes on to say, call this number immediately to cancel this charge. Right, but it's all a scam. Right, you get a message that says you spent $143 and it wasn't you. You're likely to call the number and dispute it like it says. That wasn't me. Well, that's what how the scam works. The number actually calls scammers, right? Because something to keep in mind is that these scammers, they're sitting in a call center, right? There's call centers full of these scammers and their job is just to take these calls all day and scam you, right? And what's dangerous about this fake order scam is they can impersonate any vendor, right? And they could say anything was purchased. Because the idea is it doesn't matter that it wasn't. They want it to not have been purchased, right? So they can just make up anything. And then you call up and you're talking to a scammer. And we have a victim story here to share with you. And in her case, it was an email version of this scam. And it says, this report came from Lincoln, Nebraska. A 23-year-old Lincoln woman reported losing $4,100 after falling victim to an identity fraud scam in July. The scam began with an email claiming she had purchased an iPhone. The woman called the number provided in the email to dispute the purchase and was told she had multiple open accounts in her name across various states. She was informed someone was using her identity. Keep in mind, she's talking to scammers, right? So she gets an email that says an iPhone was purchased. And if this wasn't you, call the number. It was all fake. None of it was true. But she calls the number, right, to dispute this supposed purchase that never actually happened, right? And she thinks she's talking to Apple. That's when she gets scammed. That's when they go into this whole scam narrative of somebody stolen your identity, somebody's making purchases in different states, right? The article goes on to say, according to police, scammers then connected the woman to a person posing as a CIA agent who instructed her to withdraw $3,600 from her bank account. Right? The next day, she was directed to use money to purchase Walmart cash cards and send photos and receipts. Right? Additionally, the woman sent another $500 gift card to the scammers. And gift cards are a major red flag. We're going to talk about that in a little bit too. But also notice the age. This was a 23-year-old woman. You know, there's misconception that the older folks are the ones falling for these scams. So really everybody is. And we've seen some reports where it's actually younger folks are falling for more scams. It's just the older folks have more to lose, right? The older folks have the retirement saved up and the money saved up after years usually. So they're losing more money than the younger folks are to scams. But the younger folks are falling for more scams. They're just not losing as much as the older folks. It's really devastating to retirees out there who are on a fixed income. It's really devastating, these scams, because again, a lot of times these scammers, they don't just stop at $100, $1,000. They're gonna try to get everything you have. All right, we're gonna talk about some more of those scams. So again, you can't overstate how dangerous these scams are to people, because again, it's very hard to get the money back. Once it's gone, it's very hard to get it back. Right? The banks don't cover it. It's overseas. It's out of jurisdiction. It's very hard to get the money back. So when you get your whole retirement fund stolen, it could be a nightmare. We have 2 phone call examples of fake order scams we're going to share with you. And again, you know, these scammers, they could impersonate anybody, right? We're gonna play an example of an Amazon recording for you where they're impersonating Amazon. They're claiming a MacBook Pro was purchased. All right, so by the way, the clip we're going to listen to right now, we did a video about fake order scams on our YouTube channel, and we included this example. I'm going to play for you, and the video received lots of comments of people also saying, I got that exact same phone call, right? Claiming to be Amazon, saying I purchased a MacBook. So if you get this phone call, don't fall for it, right? Let's take a listen.
This call is to authorize the payment of $1,499 for the recent order of Apple MacBook Pro on your Amazon account. If you do not authorize this payment, please press 1 to speak to our customer support representative.
All right, so don't call the number displayed. Don't press 1 to get connected to them. Look, if you get some kind of message like this claiming to be Amazon, hang up and contact Amazon directly. Check your Amazon account directly. But don't trust the phone number that they're telling you to call. Don't press 1 to get connected to them. That's how the scam works. They're trying to trick you into disputing this fake order that never even happened. Let's listen to another phone call version of this fake order scam. This one impersonates Walmart, and it claims a PlayStation was purchased.
We are trying to contact you concerning an unverified purchase of PlayStation 5 Special Edition bundled with Pulse 3D headset being ordered from your Walmart account for an amount of $859.50. If you did not authorize this transaction or wish to cancel, please press 1 or return our call on same number at your earliest convenience.
All right, so that's another example of a fake order scam to watch out for. It impersonates Walmart and claims a PlayStation was purchased. Don't press 1 to connect. Don't call the number back. That's how to get you. All right. So watch out for these fake order scams. They're targeting you from all directions: phone calls, emails, text messages. All right. Don't get fooled by them. Hey, what's up? What was that? Irma QP. Welcome to the live stream. I think it's your first time here, right? Good to see you. Always glad to see some new faces here while we try to spread awareness of these scams. By the way, let me know if you've been targeted with any of these scams. You know, I encourage engagement. I want to hear what scams everybody else is being targeted with, or what stories you have, right? Because everybody seems to know someone that's been targeted with a scam or fell for one. All right. This next scam we're going to talk about, grandparent scams. And this is what we mentioned a little bit earlier when we were talking about how the scammers now, how they're cloning your friends and your loved ones' voices, right? So now these grandparent scams that we're going to talk about, they can sound even more convincing, right? So what's a grandparent scam? It's when scammers impersonate a distressed relative, claiming to have been arrested, needing financial help during an accident, right? Victims, usually seniors, act quickly to assist their loved ones. The scammers often impersonate law enforcement, court personnel, and lawyers to extract even more money from the victim, right? And look, this is one of those heinous scams where it's called a grandparent scam because they literally target your grandparents, right? So how low is that? And they use the grandchild as bait. They'll actually impersonate the grandchild. So AI voice aside, using AI to clone the voice aside, you might be thinking to yourself, how could somebody fall for that? They would know if it was actually their grandchild calling, etc. Right? Well, we actually have a video here that there's a YouTuber, goes by Scam Sandwich. Definitely check out his channel. But he hacked into this scammer's webcam, and he actually recorded this scammer performing a grandparent scam. And just to frame it before I play this video for you, this is a scammer from the Dominican Republic, right? And he's known as an opener. What he does is he initiates contact with the victim, the grandparent, and he opens the scam. And once the victim is hooked, he hands off to other scammers known as closers, who then get the money from the victim, right? But because Scam Sandwich was able to hack this guy's webcam, we now have a recording of him performing a grandparent scam. So you could actually see how these actually happen. And, I could say myself, after watching the video, I can understand more how people could fall for this more. I can understand how, how someone could think, well, maybe that was my loved one crying. So let's take a look at this video. By the way, let me know in the chat if you think that this lady was going to fall for the scam or not. There seems to be an open debate. I think she was going to fall for it. Other people say it didn't sound like she was going to fall for it. But let me know what you think in the chat.
Oh, Mom, I had a car accident.
Huh?
I had a car accident, Mom.
Is this Linda?
It's me, Linda.
Where are you?
I got a car accident.
What happened?
I'm gonna put the officer on. I got arrested.
You got arrested?
Hi, ma'am.
Yes.
Hi, are you Linda's mom?
Yes.
What I'm gonna need you to do is grab a pen and paper and write down Linda's case number, ma'am. I need you to hurry up, please, ma'am.
Case number?
It's the number 2.
2?
The letter B as in boy. Can you read that back to me?
2B.
Now, I'm gonna read what's going on, ma'am, okay?
Okay.
Linda was involved in a car accident. It was stated in the police report. She admitted that was her fault. While she was driving, she was using her phone. That's what caused the accident, ma'am, okay?
Oh, man.
The woman that was driving the other vehicle was 7 months pregnant. We had to rush her into the nearby hospital. She might lose her baby.
Oh, really?
Yes. Now, we actually confiscating her cell phone for legal evidence, so she cannot receive or cannot make calls. This is going to be her only last call. Are you with me, ma'am?
Yes, I am.
Now, she actually wrote a note down here saying that she didn't want anyone to know about this. Let's honor her wish for right now because it's too much for her right now. That's what she's saying.
Okay.
What I'm going to need you to do, ma'am, is stay by the phone and wait for the lawyer to call, okay?
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye, ma'am.
All right, bye.
The next. All right, so there you go. See how convincing that was? First of all, when it impersonates a loved one, it's a quick 20 seconds of like somebody crying, right? And look, that could have been anybody's loved one. People don't sound like themselves when they're distressed and freaking out, Hands off to his impersonation of a police officer, right? And he had a police scanner playing in the background to make it sound more legit, like he's actually calling from the police station. Notice how he said we confiscated her cell phone, so don't try calling. That's just a subliminal way to try and trick the victim into don't even bother trying to call because you won't get a hold of her. Even though it's not true, if she calls, you probably will get a hold of her, right? But then also notice he requests secrecy. There's a little request for secrecy there where it says, oh, she's embarrassed, don't tell anybody. They're just trying to trick the victim into not telling anybody because if you tell someone, they're more likely to find out it's a scam, right? So all these little tricks that these scammers use to fool their victim, right? So that's a grandparent scam. Very important to be aware of these. If you're a grandparent, be aware if you get a call like this. If you're a grandchild, make sure your grandparents are aware of this, so they don't fall for this and you don't get used as the bait, right? They say the advice is to create a passphrase or a secret question, with your family members. So if you ever do get a call like this or a situation like this, you could ask them what the passphrase is or a secret question to try and verify. All right. But so watch out for these grandparent scams. And look, the big thing about these grandparent scams is when we mention the description, the scammers, they'll impersonate law enforcement and say, now you have to pay this. Then they impersonate court personnel and they say, yeah, now you have to pay this. Then they impersonate lawyers and say, now you have to pay this. They keep on making up all these additional reasons why your grandparent has to pay this money to help you, until there's no money left. All right, so it's a dangerous scam. Watch out for it. Make sure your loved ones are aware of it. If you're just joining, welcome to the live stream. My name's Jared with Scamware 101. Hit that like button, give us some reactions, say hi in the chat. We do this every week to spread awareness of common scams that target individuals. You, me, your friends, your family, right? We're under attack all day long. So hit that like button. We're going to be streaming until about 8 o'clock. So lots of good stuff still coming up. Share the live streams, get some more people in here. The more the merrier, right? Want to spread awareness about these scams. Nobody is safe from these scammers. If you think that you're too smart to get scammed, that's exactly what the scammers want you to think, right? So we go through these scams, we show you examples, and look, it takes a village, right? Let's look out for each other and help each other out, protect each other. Let's talk about some more common scams here. So the next batch of scams we're talking about, they're actually like vehicle related, right? Parking ticket scams, road toll scams, things like that. So let's start with the road toll scams here. I feel like this one might start slowing down a little bit. For a while, you couldn't go a day without getting one of these fake road toll scam text messages. But basically, the scammers impersonate a road toll service, EasyPass, SunPass, Fast Track, and they claim that unpaid toll is due. Victims are usually contacted by text message or email containing a link to pay. However, the link opens a fake website designed to steal any personal or financial information entered by the victim. Right? And there never was an unpaid toll due. So here's some examples of these scams. Because again, one of the things I like to do on these live streams, the whole point is I want to share examples with you. Look, we've been saying for years, I've been in IT and cybersecurity. I've been doing this for 25 years, right? And 25 years ago, when I was hosting people's emails, I was still telling them not to click links. So for 25 years, we've been saying, don't click links, but that's not enough. We got to show examples. We have to make people aware of, look, these scammers, they're impersonating everybody. They're impersonating SunPass, Peach Pass, Quick Pass, Good to Go, Easy Pass, North Texas Tollway, Drive Easy Maryland, Fast Track, and that's only a few, to name a few. They also impersonate the DMV, DOT. They're in every state, right? So that's what we're trying to get across here. Don't underestimate who these scammers will impersonate. They'll impersonate everybody. And here's some examples of these unpaid road toll text messages that were circulating. So many variations of these text messages, right? But toll roads notice a toll evasion. You have an unpaid toll bill on your account. To avoid late fees, pay within 12 hours or late fees will be increased and reported to the DMV. By the way, scammers, they try to use fear to create urgency, right? And to get you to react. So that's why they put these threats about fees being increased and being reported to the DMV. We'll show you some more examples in a little bit. But then it has a link to the fake website. Never trust these links, right? You never want to trust links that came in a text message you weren't expecting. Yep. And was it QP is saying, I don't answer my phone, text, or emails. I don't know. Exactly. And that's the way to be. If you don't recognize the number, if it's not in your contacts, don't answer it. If it's important, they'll leave a voicemail, right? Never trust links. Even if, even if the email comes from someone you know, right? If it's something suspicious about it, like the fake Evites we talked about earlier, those would come from someone you actually know. They would come from a legit email because they got hacked. You still can't trust it. So if something seems off, don't click that link. Right. Another example, your vehicle has an unpaid toll bill. To avoid excessive late fees on your bills, please sell it promptly. Thank you for your cooperation. Right. Total amount $6.99. Right. So someone thinks, oh, it's only $6.99. Let me click this and pay it. Well, what they're actually doing is they're going to have their payment details stolen. Right. And then the scammers are going to go purchasing a $5,000 TV or something under your card. So final warning, unpaid tolls. Failure to pay $3.99 toll may result in further penalties. Scam. Easy Drive MA, Easy Drive Massachusetts reminder. Your bill for $6.99 is due soon. Please visit. All right, it's got a link to the fake website. Never trust these links. If you think you actually owe a toll, open up the app on your phone, like the actual EasyPass app, or reach out directly to whoever's claiming you owe the toll. But don't trust these links and instructions that you receive in these text messages. And sticking on the theme of vehicle type scams, what was interesting about that unpaid toll scam, it kind of evolved. It evolved into an outstanding traffic ticket scam, right? And now we actually see, in my experience, we're seeing more of these than the unpaid toll scams now. But basically, scammers impersonate law enforcement or government agencies and claim you owe unpaid traffic fines. They pressure victims with threats of arrest, license suspension, or court action unless immediate payment is made. All right, here's some examples of those text messages. First example, Nebraska Department of Vehicles. Enforcement penalties begin July 21st. Our records show that as of today, you still have an outstanding traffic ticket in accordance with Nebraska State Administrative Code 15C-16. If you do not complete payment by July 20th, we will take the following actions. And here's the list of threats and scary things they're going to try to do to scare you. Because they want you to like react without thinking, right? They say, we're going to report the DMV violation database. We're going to suspend your vehicle registration, suspend driving privilege, transfer to a toll booth and charge a 35% service fee. You may be prosecuted and your credit score will be affected, right? And it's got the link to click, the fake link. But it's a scam. But it's very scary, right? If someone doesn't realize it's a scam, they're thinking, oh no, I'm going to get prosecuted. I better click this link, right? Right next to it, here's another example. It's identical, except it says the Illinois Department of Vehicles, right? Which is something very common with scams. If you see it in one state, chances are it's in other states too. Almost guaranteed, right? So you can even see here, word for word, it's identical. It just says Illinois and has a different link now. Right? And then here's one more example next to it. Final notice, unpaid traffic violation. Payment required by January 19th. There's a final notice for an unpaid traffic violation under New Jersey law, NJSA Title 39. Failure to pay by deadline will trigger enforcement action. Right, and then it goes into the scary threats that are going to happen if you don't pay on time. They're going to report you to the New Jersey Department of Motor Vehicles, suspend your vehicle registration, suspend your driver's license, refer to a debt collection agency, right? All the scary stuff that, you know, someone who's not sure if there's a scam or not, you know, might get tricked into clicking that link. So very convincing. And that's what these unpaid road tolls kind of evolved into, these unpaid traffic tickets now. I'm just reading the chat here. Yeah, QP says they've been a victim of scammers that thought were legit, including they called it family, friends, insurance company, X, etc. I don't trust that. Look, so as far as trusting anything, you can't trust any unsolicited communication. You just can't. You can't trust phone calls. You can't trust text messages. You can't trust them without verifying. You have to hang up and then you have to verify through official channels, because the scammers, they know things about you. They'll know your friends and family's name. They'll know what insurance company you use. They know what companies and utility companies you use. So they know who to impersonate to try and trick you, right? So that's why even if the caller ID, very important, even if the caller ID says that it's your local bank, you still can't trust it. Scammers can manipulate caller ID. And if anybody's watching right now who isn't aware of that, if you take away anything from this live stream that's new, they weren't aware of, is that scammers can manipulate caller ID. Right? So be aware of that. Can you show and tell about Social Security scams? Absolutely, I can. Let me see. Are they on today's list? Because if not, I'll add them to the list and we'll do them. Okay. You know what? Let me finish these traffic ones, and I'll add in the Social Security one real quick. I have some examples of those Social Security scams. So stay tuned for a few minutes, and then I'll jump into that one. Good request. I love it. I love getting requests. I'll show you some good examples of that in a few minutes. Sticking with the vehicle scams, fake parking ticket scam. Right. So we just talked about the unpaid road toll, unpaid traffic ticket. Here's a recent one that it started popping up in the past couple months. Maybe about 2 months ago, we started seeing these, right? These very, very official looking notices being emailed to people, right? State of New Jersey, state of Massachusetts, state of Florida, right? And they look very legit, right? Notice of hearing, traffic violation, has a case number, violation, parking violation / toll violation. And then they have a QR code that they say, scan this to pay. Well, if you scan that QR code, it's going to take you to a fake website and it's going to steal any payment details. Also, what's interesting about these versions of the scams, they actually have a hearing date and time listed. So I'm always curious how many people actually show up for the hearing and then realize that there wasn't even a ticket or traffic violation. But another thing about these, and by the way, there's another example. They're in all states. Right. I'm showing New Jersey, Massachusetts, Florida. I've seen Illinois. I've seen New York. They're all over. They're in every state at this point. And another thing that's interesting about these, if you look at the state symbols, they were actually generated by AI. right? We're mentioning all these things that scammers are doing with AI now. Look at these symbols. You could tell that they're AI because they're not real letters. The letters are all like, it's not the actual symbol. It's close enough to fool somebody, but you could tell they're AI generated. They're not the actual state symbols. There's state of Florida, Miami-Dade County. It has the county listed, the courthouse address. Right? It even has a judge's name. On the New Jersey and Massachusetts ones, it has Judge John Smith for both of them. So John Smith is a busy judge. But yeah, watch out for these fake traffic violations. You're being emailed and texted, and these are a newer version for the past couple months. These started to circulate. So very convincing. Don't fall for them. Watch out. It's another example of a paper parking violation, right? Because it's not only online scams. You have to watch out for scams out in the real world too, right? You'll walk out to your car, come home from a restaurant, for example, and you'll find this paper in your windshield. It says parking violation. In this example, it's the city of Houston, right? And we see this a lot in major cities. I think Denver's another city that I've seen an example of this in, right? But it has a QR code. The example, he's covering it with his finger. But if you scan the QR code, you get taken to the fake website and you have your payment details stolen. So even outside in the real world, you got to be careful, right? You find this in your windshield, be suspicious. And then one more parking vehicle related scam here. And then I'll show you the Social Security scam examples. Here was a warning. This warning actually came out back in 2024. Right? And it's probably more relevant than ever right now. But it warns about malicious QR codes being placed on parking meters, right? Because nowadays you park the car, a lot of them have QR codes, and you scan it, and it brings up the parking app where you can pay for parking. Well, what these scammers do is they print out their malicious QR codes, they slap them on top of the parking meter QR code, and victims scan it. They think they're paying for parking. They're actually getting their payment details stolen. Right? Pretty clever. And this was going on 2 years ago. So it's going on a lot more now. And it's just one of those examples where out in public, you have to be careful with QR codes. QR codes became a lot more common thanks to COVID, right? Because when COVID came out, everybody was going hands-free. Everybody learned how to scan QR codes on menus instead of holding menus. And now anybody that hadn't scanned a QR code before, now they knew how, right? And now the scams are blowing up with QR codes. So we're seeing a lot of classic scams, lottery winning scams, stuff you get postcards about, right? Now they have QR codes on them because it gets you to these fake websites. So always be suspicious about QR codes, parking meters, flyers in public. All right. The safest QR code is one you don't have to scan. And what I mean by that, and I'm going to use my own QR code as an example here, is as you're watching, you see at the top of the screen, I got those slides going. And one of them is a donate slide, right? You can donate scamware101.com/donate, right? I got a QR code there. Well, here's the thing. You don't have to scan the QR code. I have the URL right there. So you could just go directly, scamware101.com/donate, or you could bypass the QR code completely. And that's really the safest way to deal with these QR codes. If wherever you're at, if you could just open up the app manually that you already have, just open the parking app up instead of scanning the QR code, right? Or just go to the website directly instead of scanning the QR code. The safest QR code is one you don't have to scan. Right, so that's my rule to live by. QP just mentioned the bank scammers. Hey, the thing about bank scams, I mentioned earlier, you can't trust caller ID. And that's one of those scams where we know scammers will show your bank's phone number on the caller ID, right? They can manipulate it. So this scammer could be in another country and your caller ID will say TD Bank, Bank of America, right? But you can't trust it. But the good thing about bank scams, right, is anything involving your bank. A phone call claiming something's going on with your bank, a text message claiming something's going on with your bank, an email claiming, what you do, don't trust the links. Don't trust the person calling on a phone, right? You hang up and call the number on the back of your bank card. That's it. Call the number on the back of your bank card. It doesn't matter if the caller ID says that number because a scammer could be faking it. But if you call the number on the back of your bank card, you could 100% be sure, okay, I'm actually talking to my bank now, right? So any type of communication involving the bank, do not engage. Hang up and call the number on the back of your bank card. Right? It's the safest way to deal with that. But let's take a little sidetrack here and let's talk about these Social Security scams.
Was that for me?
That's funny. My Alexa thought I was talking to her. All right. Oh, by the way, if you haven't joined our free mailing list yet, go to scamaware101.com and click Join Mailing List. It's the best way to keep up to date with what we got going on. We'll send out reminders every week to remind you when we're going live, let you know when we post new content. And now with social media, you never know when your social media is going to get turned off these days. So really the best way to stay up to date, join the free mailing list, scamaware101.com and hit Join Mailing List. And as far as social media goes, we're on all your favorite social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter. We have links all on our website here. So go give us a quick like and follow on your favorite social media platforms. It really does help. Oh, and by the way, I don't mention it enough, but we actually have a course available too. For $10, you get access to it for a year, right? So online courses right here at the bottom of our site. And we did a introductory fundamentals, how scams start course. It goes over 6 common ways that scams start, has 25 dangerous actions to avoid. It's really good. So for $10, get access for a year, and hey, it helps out. You know, goes towards a good cause. So check out the course. Let me know what you think. But let's talk about these Social Security scams that you asked about here. I'm just bringing up my examples here. I'm actually going to go over two examples of Social Security scams. So the first, here's an email. It impersonates Social Security, and I'm going to show you how it looks like on a mobile device too. Right, so here's how it looks on a mobile device. You get this email, right, and it claims to be from Social Security, right, and it has a link that looks like it points to SSA.gov. Right, it says, get your new information now. To see your statement, please download the file from this link. And it looks like it has a link to SSA.gov. Right? We hope you find your new statement useful and informative. Thank you for using the Social Security Administration services. Okay. But here's the thing. That link doesn't really point to SSA.gov. It points somewhere else. And if you click that link, you're going to get infected with a virus. Right? So that's something important to be aware of. Is any communications, any email communications claiming to be Social Security, be suspicious, right? Really, official notices should be getting mailed to you. You know, if it's real, you should be getting notified by mail. But even if you do get these notifications, don't click the link. You know, the safest way is go visit the website directly, ssa.gov. Go visit yourself directly. Don't trust this link because clicking a link will actually take you somewhere else. So then this is what it looks like on your phone, this fake statement email claimed to be from Social Security. On a computer, it becomes a little bit more obvious that's a scam, right? Because now on a computer, here's the same email, right? But you can see a little bit more information. First of all, you can see that the email that it came from, the email address, it isn't SSA.gov. It's actually like no reply at safaricom.co.ke, which is actually a Kenyan email from Kenya, right? So that's a red flag right there as far as not being from Social Security. But you'll notice the link, right? We hover the mouse over it, and you can see where it actually points. Even though the text says SSA.gov, it actually points to a completely different website with just random numbers and letters, right? So you click that link, it's going to infect it with a virus. So that's one Social Security scam that's out there and floating around. And look, this example is from February 6, 2025. So this example is over a year old, and we still see reports of this exact same scam email to this day being reported. So this one's very active, circulating, right? And it always goes back to those same core rules. Don't click the link, because just because the link text says it's SSA.gov, as you can see, it actually points to a completely different location, right? They're trying to trick you. So watch out for that Social Security scam. And then, let's see, we have a couple, and also, regarding Social Security, just to give you an idea about what a big problem these Social Security scams are, is this is a actual picture of a real envelope from Social Security, right? It's a legit envelope, came from Social Security, right? But notice, scams are such a big problem that they actually have it printed on their envelope. Scam alert. Scammers are pretending to be government employees. They may threaten you and may demand immediate payment to avoid arrest or legal action. Do not be fooled. Right? So that gives you an idea of how serious these scams are. Social Security is actually printing warnings on their envelopes and sending them to people. And I have a few reports too, some victim reports here I saved. And here's what one victim says. I received an email claiming to be from Social Security Man. First section of the email says, we are reaching out to inform you of a critical issue concerning your Social Security number. Our system has detected unusual or potentially unauthorized activity linked to your Social Security number. As a precautionary measure, your Social Security number has been flagged for possible suspension. This action may affect your ability to access federal services, benefits, and identification verification systems tied to your Social Security number. Right? This is a scam. Right? They probably had a link attached to it. And it does the same thing. Downloads a virus, steals your personal details to have you filled out. Right? But again, it's an email. The last one I showed you said, it's a fake statement. This one says that there's a critical issue. Right? They use whatever narrative they can to get you to click these links. So here's another one. I received 2 separate emails, the latest from Social Security Administration with SSA letterhead, claiming that I had a new message in my Social Security message center. The link to the document, a PDF, was actually an executable file and it was a virus. Right? So you might get an email that says you have a new message from Social Security. In this case, it had an attachment. Don't open that attachment. Right? And that's cybersecurity 101. Never open an attachment that you weren't expecting. Right? So these are some common scams that are actively flowing. This report was from earlier in the year, a few months ago in January. So these are all active types of scams that are circulating. Let's see, I got one more report here. Let's see if this is one. Call from Sheldon at 810 saying my card service is saying my Social Security number is compromised and asked for my Social Security number. All right, so in this case, it was a phone call. Right? Because again, scammers, they'll target you email, text. In this case, it was a phone call. They said that their Social Security number had been compromised, but it's actually a trick to steal the person's Social Security number. Right? Never give away your Social Security number over the phone to a caller. Right? Again, this goes back to you got to hang up and call back through official channels. If somebody's calling up saying they're calling you from Social Security, tell them, sorry, I'm going to hang up. I'll handle this myself. You hang up and you call back Social Security directly or check your Social Security account, right? But don't engage with the unsolicited call, the unsolicited email. And one more note about this. They might know things about you. They might even know part of your Social Security number. They might already know your birth date. They may know things about you, but that's all part of the trick. Right? That doesn't mean you could trust it. They're saying these things because they think it's going to trick you into giving them what they want. So you always have to hang up and verify. Was that helpful, QP, those examples? I hope that was helpful. All right. So next up, we're going to talk about some red flags. Actually, you know what? Maybe it's time to take the quick, let's see, I got to get refilled here. I do. Okay. We'll take a quick 5-minute break to refill the Scamaware 101 coffee mug. And then we're going to talk about some red flags. Bear with me. I'm just updating the agenda real quick here. All right, QP, let me know if that was helpful. We're going to take a quick 5-minute break. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to play some tunes for you while we're refilling the Scamware 101 coffee mug. Don't forget to visit our YouTube store. Get your own Scamware 101 coffee mug. We're going to be back in 5 minutes. Appreciate you all.
Got
Stay
a
tuned.
text on your phone saying password expired. Link look weird, but your thumb feel wired. They fishing for the keys to your whole damn life. One tap, now they swimming in your bank late night. Dear customer, copy paste same line. Spelled your name wrong, can't even fake the design. Buzz in your pocket, yo, click for the check, click for the virus, click, lose respect. Scamware 101, Jared, break it down. If it sound too sweet, better turn it around. Easy cash, fast love, miracle and cash. Hit the lead, not the link, we ain't falling for that. Scamware 101, say it with your chest. Call them out, block the number, treat it like a test. If your gut say run, then you follow that drum. Scamware, class has begun.
You must go to the store and buy gift cards.
Stop! It's a scam!
My uncle works at a hedge fund and gives me insider trading tips. Download this trading app.
Stop! It's a scam!
My bank suddenly needs my password, my PAN, and my first pet's social security number.
Stop! It's a scam!
This is urgent. You can't hang up.
Get lost, scammer.
They slide in your DMs, hey friend, long time. Photo look perfect, but the grammar ain't right. Click this link, your package on hold, but you never ordered. That story feel old. They rush you, they push you, act fast, don't wait. Soon as there's pressure, you step on the brakes. Dare break it down, plain talk, no gloss. If they hate your questions, that's your sign to walk off. Red flags, listen when he talks. Jared got the map when the road feels dark. If it sounds too sweet, then you step back smart. We don't get scammed, yeah, we guard our hearts. Hey, red flags, learn them by heart. Scam awareness class, that's the hardest part. But he slow it right down, so we all take charge. We don't get scammed, we don't get scarred.
You must go to the store and buy gift cards.
Stop! It's a scam!
My uncle works at a hedge fund and gives me insider trading tips. Download this trading app.
Stop! It's a scam!
My bank suddenly needs my password, my PAN, and my first pet's social security number.
Stop! It's a scam!
This is urgent. You can't hang up.
Get lost, scammer.
Yo, it's Jared in the booth, spitting scammer with truth. They fishing in your inbox, man, they stealing your youth. Phishing emails, got that urgent in the line. Click that link and your bank account's not fine. Fake tech support, they call you at noon. Your PC's infected, yeah, they're singing that tune. Pick butchering scams, fat wallets to slice. Invest in the fake love, but you're paying the price. Scamware 101, keep your eyes wide open. If the deal seems sweet, man, they're probably hoping. Snatch your cash, leave you broken instead. Stay woke, my people, man, these crooks don't care.
You must go to the store and buy gift cards.
Stop! It's a scam!
My uncle works at a hedge fund and gives me insider trading tips. Download this trading app.
Stop! It's a scam!
My bank suddenly needs my password, my PAN, and my first pet's social security number.
Stop! It's a scam!
This is urgent. You can't hang up.
Get lost, scammer.
It's your bank, message on your phone. Jared says pause, don't tap that alone. Spelling kinda shaky, logo looks strange. Why they in a hurry, what's the real game? Dave Cruz jumps in, check that URL. Little extra letter, rings like a bell. If they want your code, that's your front door key. Real ones never ask, just trust me. Scam awareness 101, we don't click quick, we a call, your grandkid stuck. Voice sounds shaky, begging for bucks. Jared hits speaker, ask one more thing. What's their middle name? What's their first dog spring? Nigella's on email, congrats, you won. Prize looks fancy, fees day one.
All right, we're back. Welcome to the live stream. We're going to continue the rest of the live stream for about another hour or so uninterrupted. Got my Scamaware 101 travel mug refilled. Going to stay caffeinated and on top of my game for you all out there. If you're just joining us, welcome to the live stream. I'm Jared with Scamaware 101. Our mission here is to spread awareness of common scams that target individuals like you, me, your friends, your family, your loved ones. Right? We're being targeted from all directions. So one of the ways we do that is we do this live stream every week, spread awareness, where we go over red flags to help you spot these scams. We share examples. We start every week, 5:45 p.m. every Thursday. So we've been going for about an hour and 20-ish minutes around there. And we're going to be going for another hour. So still plenty of time to share this live stream. Hit that like button if you haven't yet. Give us a quick follow and subscribe. Join our free mailing list on scamaware101.com. As you can see right here, just scamaware101.com and hit join mailing list. It's free to join. You can also follow us on your favorite social media platforms: YouTube, Blue Sky, X, Threads, Instagram, Facebook. Give us a quick like and follow. It really does help. Also, if you want to help out financially, we do accept donations. Scamaware101.com/donate. Or we have super chats enabled, super thanks enabled. We have YouTube memberships enabled over on YouTube. And we have a merch store as well, offering some merch. It's on our YouTube channel store. Or you can click the link to the merch store on our website. Get yourself one of these sweet Scamaware 101 travel mugs or some water bottles, some other mugs, mouse pads, stickers. Help support the mission over here. They make great gifts for the friend or family member that keeps on getting scammed too. So check it out. We appreciate the support. But hey, times are tough. We get it. We're just happy with like, follow, subscribe. Help us spread awareness. And with that said, we're going to continue with the live stream here. And the next portion is red flags. We're going to go over 10 red flags to help you identify scams when you're dealing with a scammer. We actually did a video about these red flags. We have 2 videos. We did 5 red flags in each over our YouTube channel. So feel free to go share those and check those out later. But we're going to go over those 10 red flags right now. So let's start with red flag number 1. They were dealing with a scammer. And you heard me mention this a little bit earlier as we were talking about some of these scams. They create a sense of urgency using fear and threats, right? They insist on immediate action. You know, scammers try to create urgency and fear because those emotions push people to react quickly without thinking, right? The more panic and pressure scammers can create, the faster a victim will hand over money and information. And we see this a lot with grandparent scams when the victims think that their grandchild has been in an accident or needs trouble or needs assistance, right? That could create some urgency and fear, right? To get a reaction. Arrest warrant scams, we're going to talk about those in a little bit. But hey, if somebody thinks they're going to get arrested, they may be fearful and react, right? Yeah, I'll pay whatever you tell me to. Just don't arrest me, right? Bank impersonation scams. They think their money's not safe, right? That's going to get you afraid, right? So they make you think your money's not safe, convince you to take it out, and they scam you, right? They create this sense of urgency and fear, right? So if you find yourself in that situation, pause, take a breath, and look, any legit organization, especially if it's a law enforcement or a bank, they will understand 100% if you say you're going to hang up and call them back, right? Because they'll say that's smart to do, right? So that's red flag number 1. They create a sense of urgency and fear using threats. They want to get you to react. So don't fall for it. Don't get pulled in by that trick they use. Red flag number 2. The request that you keep the matter confidential or secret, right? It's very common for scammers to ask for confidentiality. Sometimes they'll come up with these tricky little stories to convince you not to tell anybody and give you these reasons not to tell anybody, right? But the fact of the matter is they don't want you to discuss the situation with other people because the more people you talk to, the more likely you'll be told it's a scam, right? So they're going to try to keep it quiet. They're going to ask you to keep it secret or confidential. And we see this in grandparent scams. That video we showed earlier, in the grandparent scam, there was that request for secrecy. They said that she's embarrassed and asked you not to tell anybody. That's part of the trick. That's a request for secrecy they're using, right? Investment scams, they'll tell you it's an inside tip, not to share it with anybody. A price is just for you. That's just because they don't want anybody talking to anybody. Inheritance scams. You'll get a letter impersonating a law office regarding a fake inheritance, and a letter will say, this requires confidentiality. You know, who are they to tell you to keep an inheritance confidential? That's up to you. Right? And they got the fake fraudulent activity where they impersonate an agency investigating fraud. And a lot of times they'll say, you can't tell anybody about this because you'll put the investigation at risk. right? But that's all part of scam. That's all their scam narrative that they're using to request secrecy, right? So it's a big red flag if you're talking to someone, they're telling you to keep it quiet and not tell anybody, right? So that's red flag number 2. They request you keep the matter confidential or secret. Red flag number 3. And by the way, I'd love to hear your stories. Let me know in the chat. In fact, let me go check on, let's see how we're doing over on Instagram and on Facebook here. Okay, we're still live on Instagram and Facebook. Shout out to anybody who's watching on Instagram and Facebook. Mainly paying attention to the YouTube channel. So go check us out on YouTube if you want to ask questions and interact. Red flag number 3. They ask to connect to your PC to assist or investigate an issue. Your PC or device, actually. Right? So, why do scammers want to get onto your device, your PC? Because it's a gold mine to them, right? Once they get onto your device, they can extract your username and passwords. If you have them saved in your Chrome browser, for example, they can extract those logins once they're on your device. They can steal your files, encrypt your files, hold them for ransom, blackmail you if you have anything embarrassing on there or something personal, right? They'll do it. They do it all. They can attempt to access your bank accounts and websites when they're on your device. A lot of times they'll say that they're investigating fraud and they'll offer to connect your device and check your bank accounts for you, right? So you're sitting there with a scammer on your device and you're opening each of your bank accounts, showing how much money you have for them to steal, right? And you think that they're checking for suspicious activity for you, right? But it's a scam. So it's always a red flag. If someone is trying to connect your device, wants to connect your device, be suspicious, right? Some examples of this: fake virus alerts, tech support scams, right? You get a fake pop-up. It says you're infected with a virus, right? It says, call this number. You call that number, you're actually calling a scammer. And then they say, let me connect your computer to remove the virus. Right? It's all part of the scam to get onto your device. Fake order scams. I talked about this earlier. Sometimes you get notified about an order. It's not true. There was no order, but you get notified that there was an order and you're instructed to call back a number. When you call back, the scammer says, hey, let me connect your device and see the notification. It's a trick to get on your device, right? And then the fake fraudulent activity that I just talked about. They'll say they're investigating fraud on your bank account and they'll offer to connect your device and let's check all your bank accounts, log in each account, right? But it's all part of their scam, right? And plus, if you let a scammer onto your device, they're going to install some software on there that now they can access your device whenever they want. So you'll be sleeping and they'll be on your computer doing something illegal, right? So never want to let these scammers onto your device. It's a big red flag. When it comes to getting tech support or help from someone, what I always tell people is you should already have in mind whoever your tech support person is, right? This way you get one of those fake pop-ups. Instead of even being tempted to call that number, you call your tech support guy, your guy or girl or whoever, right? You call that tech support person. Maybe it's the family member that's good with computers. Maybe it's the tech support people at work. Maybe it's a friend or a computer shop down the street. But you should already have in mind where if something goes on with your device, somebody's telling you or asking to connect your device, no, I'll have my tech support guy look at it, right? So that's red flag number 3. They ask to connect your PC or device to assist or investigate an issue. Red flag number 4. This is a big one. This is probably the most important one to be aware of. They request payment in gift cards, prepaid cards, cryptocurrency, or depositing cash at a Bitcoin ATM, right? It's these unusual forms of payment. Major red flags. Because the reason these scammers like being paid in these unusual forms of payment is because it's easier for them to move and transfer the funds quickly. And it's also harder for victims to recover the money after it's sent, right? If you purchase $3,000 in gift cards, retail gift cards, Apple gift cards, Target gift cards, whatever gift cards, right? They have you purchase $3,000 worth and send them pictures of those gift cards, right? Once you send the pictures to them, the funds are gone. The cards in your hand are worthless. The scammers have them, and you're not going to get that money back. You're not going to get a refund on those gift cards, right? So that's why they ask for gift cards, because they know you're not going to be able to do anything about it once they have the money. Right? Same thing with crypto. Very hard to retrieve crypto after you've sent it. So they'll tell you to go deposit your money into a Bitcoin ATM or to send them crypto, right? Those fake pig butchering investment apps, they ask you for crypto because they know once you send them crypto, you're not going to get it back. So big red flag, right? IRS Social Security scams. The scammer impersonates a government agency and they'll ask for payment in gift cards or cryptocurrency. Huge red flag. And let me tell you something. The government does not accept gift cards or cryptocurrency as payment. right? Yet. Maybe one day they'll do cryptocurrency, but right now they don't. So if anybody calls you up claiming to be with a government agency saying that they want you to pay in gift cards or cryptocurrency or to go to a Bitcoin ATM or even to a Walmart and to pay them using a one account, which is one of the new things we're hearing, don't trust it. Major red flag, right? Romance scams. The scammer, they're asking for gift cards and crypto, and the victim thinks they're just sending a gift to someone that they're, emotionally involved with, right? They think that they're sending crypto into a shared account. They don't understand how crypto works. They're not actually going to be able to get it out of that account after it's sent, right? It's not like a bank account where they deposit and now they withdraw, right? And bank impersonation scams, right? They'll trick you into withdrawing your money and they'll tell you to go insert it into a Bitcoin ATM or purchase gift cards, right? All red flags. Don't trust it. You hear anything about purchasing gift cards, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin ATM, stop. All right, that's red flag number 4. They request payment, gift cards, prepaid cards, cryptocurrency, depositing cash at a Bitcoin ATM. And look, a lot of times, this red flag is so important to be aware of because a lot of times it's your last chance to stop this scam. Because the next step is to deposit that money, to give that money to them, right? So, and once that happens, you're not going to get back. So it's super important to be able to recognize this red flag because you're already that deep into the scam. It's the last chance you're going to have to stop it at that point. All right, so don't fall for it. Red flag number 5. The voicemail or call instructs you to call number displayed on the caller ID or to press 1 instead of stating actual phone number, right? If this was a legit call, they would have at least said the phone number to call back. They wouldn't say call number displayed, right? Scammers change their phone numbers often and they use many different phone numbers, right? Phone numbers get turned off and turned on all the time for these scammers. So it's a pain for them to actually say a phone number every time and change it every time it changes, right? So instead they just say call number displayed, right? This way the phone number changes. It doesn't matter, right? They're going to call you, recording plays, call number displayed. There you go. So it's always a big red flag if the message says call number displayed. Call number shown, call number displayed, press 1. Don't do it. Hang up, reach out through official channels, right? We see this for fake order notifications. Okay, you get the examples I played earlier, right? Where they're impersonating Walmart and Amazon, those recordings. They say press 1. But if you press 1, you get connected to a scammer, right? So you never want to call these numbers that the messages, when they say call number displayed, you never want to call number displayed. Instead, reach out directly to Amazon, reach out directly to your bank, but don't trust the notification, right? These utility and cable provider scams. You'll get a voicemail, they're pretending to be your cable provider, and then they say call number displayed, right? IRS and tax forgiveness scams, right? When a voicemail claims you owe back taxes but are entitled to tax forgiveness, a lot of times they'll say call number displayed, right? Because you're not actually calling an accountant, you're calling a scammer. So be aware of this. It's very suspicious if a voicemail or message or recording tells you to call number displayed instead of actually leaving a phone number to call. Dave says gift cards are now called scammers cards. Should be the mindset for people who never purchased them. Yeah, very true. Gift cards are now called scammers cards. Yeah. I'm going to show you some more examples too, because you think about it, you can get these $500 gift cards. So the scammers, they tell people purchase 10 gift cards, purchase 10 gift cards, right? And you're dealing with a $2,500, $5,000 scam right there. It's a lot of money to lose. So there are 5 red flags. We're going to continue with 5 more red flags here. Red flag number 6. An unsolicited email or text message instructs you to open a file attachment. Right? We mentioned this one a little earlier, a few times. We were talking about some cybersecurity 101. Right? Scammers use file attachments to bypass email and text message filters. Right? Malicious email and text message attachments can install malware or direct you to a dangerous website. Right? We talked about that Social Security scam earlier where the victim reported it had a PDF file attached and it had a virus. All right? So you never want to open an attachment that you weren't expecting, especially when you don't know who sent it and weren't expecting it. Now, we see this with fake invoice scams. You'll get an email or text message that claims an invoice is attached, right? But it's actually a malicious file. If you open it, you get infected. You'll get something about an undeliverable package, right? A text message that says, open the attachment, right? And most of the time it'll take you to a fake website, but it could also be a malicious attachment too, right? That infects you with a virus. Unpaid road toll scams. And we showed you a few examples of those earlier, but there are variations where you'll get a text message or an email and it'll say you have an unpaid ticket, unpaid road toll, and it has an attachment. In fact, all those examples I showed earlier with the where I had the state logos and everything, those were attachments that were emailed, right? So you never want to open attachments that you weren't expecting from someone, because it's a scam. That's red flag number 6. An unsolicited email or text message instructs you to open a file attachment. Don't do it. It's a scam. Red flag number 7. The text message includes an instruction at the end to reply with yes and reopen the message. Now, here's the thing. There's a lot of legit messages, too, that have this. But the thing that's suspicious about this is scammers want you to reply yes because it notifies them your number's active, right? Even I even advise people, I tell them, even if they know it's a scam and they just want to mess with the scammer, don't do it, right? Because you're just going to let the scammer know your number's active. They're going to add you to more lists, and then you're going to get even more scam messages, right? So a lot of times they'll include this instruction at the end to reply yes and reopen the message. The other thing is, if you reply yes and reopen the message, the link gets activated. So some devices is not activated by default, right? But if you reply to someone, or if it's a contact in your phone, the link, it will be activated, right? So now you can actually click on it, which makes it more dangerous. So there's multiple things going on here when they say reply yes and reopen the message. So it's a red flag. If you see this at the bottom of your text messages, be suspicious. And a lot of examples that I shared earlier with you, like the outstanding traffic ticket text message scam, the undeliverable package scams, there's some IRS impersonation scams. I didn't share those with you today, but in those examples too, at the end of those text messages, they all say reply with yes and reopen the message. All right, so watch out for that. It's a very common thing we see on these scam texts. It's a red flag. So red flag number 7. The text message includes an instruction at the end to reply with yes and reopen the message. How are you all doing out there? Let me know you're watching. Give me some reaction in the chat. By the way, I don't really pay attention to viewer count when I'm doing this. So the only way I know people are watching is when they react and type things. All right, red flag number 8. They're dealing with a scammer. The caller asked to confirm personal information like date of birth, social security number, or Medicare number, right? It's always just suspicious. Somebody calls you and right off the bat, they'll say something like they have a message for you, but you have to verify your information first. And then they're going to ask like your birth date, your Medicare number, your social security number, but it's actually a trick to get your personal information, right? They'll impersonate medical services. They'll impersonate your doctor's office. They'll impersonate financial services. They'll impersonate government services. They'll say, like that example used for Social Security earlier, where they said there was something malicious going on and you need to confirm your Social Security number. It's just a trick to get the Social Security number from you, right? So it's always suspicious if some unsolicited caller calls up and just starts asking for your information. Sometimes they'll say there's a new card that's going to be issued, like a Medicare card or Social Security card, and they'll say, but you need to verify your number first. There's no new card being issued. It's a scam. They're trying to get your current information, right? And we see this a lot with Medicare and healthcare scams, right? Because in those scams, they're going to file a bunch of false claims and then try to get Medicare or insurance company to pay for it. And what they do, they need your Medicare number and your insurance information to do that type of scam. So they call up and they'll say, we need to confirm your date of birth. We need to confirm your Social Security number. We need to confirm your Medicare number. Right? It's always suspicious. Government impersonation, same deal. So watch out for this type of scam. Always be suspicious. Somebody just calls up, starts asking you info. Don't trust it. Hang up. We'll call back through official channels. And again, it doesn't matter what the caller ID says. I can't stress that enough. A lot of victims, you hear their stories, and the reason they fell for the scam was they thought they could trust caller ID. They'll say, caller ID said my bank's name, so I thought it was my bank. Caller ID said the local sheriff's department, so I thought it was that. But they didn't realize that scammers can manipulate the caller ID. So watch out for that. But anyway, that's red flag number 8. The caller asked to confirm personal information, like date of birth, Social Security number, Medicare number. It's very suspicious. Don't trust it. Got 2 more to go here. Red flag number 9. They direct you to third-party chat app like Telegram or WhatsApp to continue the conversation. Look, scammers love using third-party chat apps to communicate with their victims because it's much easier to communicate with their victims all throughout other countries, right? And than it is to be sending them text messages and getting their phone numbers turned off. So instead, they have them join over on WhatsApp or Telegram, right? So a lot of times these scams, they'll initiate through a more traditional method, through a text message, a phone call, an email. But then once it's initiated, they'll say, hey, let's keep talking on WhatsApp. We see that a lot in romance scams, right? Where they'll use a website or dating app, and then they'll say, hey, you seem nice, let's talk on WhatsApp, right? Because they want to get their victims over onto WhatsApp. It's much easier for them to communicate. They can send those AI videos to them, and it's a big red flag, right? So seeing romance scams, we see it in wrong number scams, we're going to talk about in a little bit. But a wrong number scam, you get a random text message, person's like, oh, I'm sorry, I sent it to the wrong number, but you seem nice, let's be friends. And they'll try to add you on WhatsApp. It's a scam, don't do it. It's known as wrong number scam. We got these investment scams. We mentioned them a little earlier. A lot of times they'll direct you to a Telegram or WhatsApp group to pump up an investment, right? Sometimes they'll have bots in there or other scammers in there pretending to be other investors. Don't trust it. All right, so if somebody directs you, a stranger directs you, a third-party app or any app for that matter, Telegram, WhatsApp, they try to get you to download an app, be suspicious. Red flag number 9. And then the last red flag we have here, they ask you to provide a code that was sent to your phone via text message. This is actually a very common scam, right? We see it a lot on marketplace type websites, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist. I think Whatnot is one of the newer sites, right? Any marketplace website where you could buy and sell on, this is a common scam. And basically what happens is a scammer impersonates a buyer or seller, and they'll usually say something like they want to confirm your phone number's real. And they'll say, I'm going to send a code to your phone. Right? But what they're actually trying to do, they're actually trying to like log into one of your accounts or create an account that's linked to your phone or reset a password. They're trying to do something malicious, right? There's no reason an individual should be sending a code to your phone, right? That's a big red flag. Sometimes when they're impersonating the bank, they'll be on the phone with you. They're impersonating the bank. And what they're actually trying to do, they're trying to log into your bank account. So they'll say, I just want to verify I'm talking to you. I'm going to send a code to your phone. Then they go to log into your bank account. You get the code. You give them that code. You grant them access to your bank account. Right? So there's no reason individuals should be sending a code to your phone like that. Another one is a Google Voice scam. What they do is these scammers, they create these Google Voice accounts, which lets them make phone calls for, to do their scams. And what they do is they register these Google Voice accounts, but they link them to your phone number, to someone else's phone number, right? If you provide the code back to them, you grant them access to do that. So now they have a fraudulent Google Voice account, and they're doing all these scams with it, and it points back to you or shows your phone number. So this is a big red flag if somebody's trying to send a code to your phone. All right, don't trust it. Be suspicious. That's red flag number 10. That's our 10 red flags. So if you found those useful, give me some reactions in the chat. And again, we have 2 videos on those red flags. We did five in each video. So if you know someone that would find that useful, go check out the red flag videos that we have on our YouTube channel and go share them. Make sure to give them a like. All right. We're going to be going for another 45 minutes or so, so make sure to hit that like button if you haven't yet. Still time to get some more people in here. But we're going to keep on talking about some more common scams to be aware of. And this one is an arrest warrant scam. This is a good example of how they use fear to try and scare their victims into reacting. You think you're getting arrested, you might be a little afraid, right? So a victim is contacted by a scammer impersonating law enforcement. Scammer claims an arrest warrant was issued and fines must be paid to resolve it. The scammer then threatens the victim with arrest if fines aren't paid immediately. Now, look, this is a very common scam. And this is one of those scams where the caller ID, it will show a local law enforcement's phone number. It'll show a sheriff's phone number, right? And they'll be impersonating local law enforcement, but it's a scammer. Right? And what they'll do is they'll say that you missed jury duty or you failed to show up to court. Right? And they'll say you must pay immediately or they're going to come arrest you. Like they'll literally say, we're going to send deputies over here to arrest you right now if you don't pay. It'll be a very scary situation, right? Especially if the caller ID says that it's a local sheriff. They've been known to offer fake paperwork as well. So they'll text you or email you fake paperwork. It's fraudulent. It's based on a real arrest warrant, but they'll put your info in. So it could be a scary situation, right? But like all these other scams, you can't take anything at face value over the phone. You have to hang up and verify through official channels. And this is no different. In this case, if you're concerned that this call is real, which by the way, it won't. You'd be getting official paperwork. You know, if you were going to get arrested for something, you would have got plenty of notifications, you know, leading up to this point. It's very rare that you would just get a sudden arrest warrant out for you. You would have already gotten a notice in mail about missing jury duty before they come and arrest you. You know what I mean? So it's very suspicious if you're getting a phone call claiming that there's going to be an arrest warrant. And some recent reports here that I thought were worth mentioning. And these were all in January 2026. So these are all recent reports here. A man reportedly from a sheriff's department in a city I used to live in said that there was a warrant for my arrest. It was due to not reporting for jury duty, right? So there's that narrative saying you missed jury duty. And it says, here's a clever request for secrecy. They said, I was not to discuss this with anyone because children were involved, right? It's a clever way to try and get the person to stay quiet, right? You can't tell anybody there's children involved. And then he was told to go to Walmart and put money on a One account, which we're hearing more and more about these Walmart One accounts being used by scammers. And then they offer to provide a barcode once you get there. So that was some interesting details about arrest warrant scam. And another report says, received a phone call saying they were from the county sheriff and that I had 2 charges against me and that I had to pay a fee. Was made to stay on the line and was directed to deposit money through a cryptocurrency machine. So notice what's interesting about that is it was made to stay on the line. The scammers will keep you on the phone while you're driving to deposit money. They want to keep you on the phone because, again, they don't want you talking to people. If they keep you on the phone, it's less likely you'll talk to anybody and be told it's a scam, right? So all red flags, all part of the common arrest warrant scam narrative. All right, so be aware of that one. Don't fall for it. Even if they're offering you paperwork, you can't trust it, right? You got to hang up. If you're concerned it's real, contact the issuing organization directly and make sure you're actually calling the real organization's number to check. So these arrest warrant scams, they're a big deal. Lots of warnings about these coming from law enforcement because, hey, law enforcement doesn't like being impersonated. So there's lots of warnings about this one circulating. We did a video about this too. We included some media clips from the media and stuff about it. So check out that arrest warrant scam video we have on our YouTube channel. Here's a cool infographic we generated too about this scam. Warning, how to spot an arrest warrant scam. Scammers impersonate law enforcement. They demand immediate payment. They use deceptive tactics, fake caller ID, fake paperwork, right? Never trust your caller ID. Scammers can manipulate the number displayed on your phone to look like a legitimate agency. The golden rule, hang up and verify. So watch out for his arrest warrant scams. Another red flag is when they try to sign you up for insurance after the enrollment period has passed. That's a good one, Dave. Yep, you start getting calls out of nowhere. Look, honestly, any phone call about insurance is suspect to me, right? There's so many various insurance scams out there, whether it's Medicare scams or just insurance scams in general. And something to keep in mind when it comes to like the medical insurance type scams, at least health scams. Unfortunately, a lot of our personal information is already out there, like our medical information. The scammer will know what doctor's office to impersonate. They'll know what insurance company to impersonate. They might know if you're on Medicare or not already, so they know whether to impersonate Medicare. They might have a portion of your social security number already, right? So it could be very convincing when these scammers call you. Since they know who your doctor's office is, they'll show your doctor's office on the phone, under caller ID, right? So the same rule applies. You got to hang up, and if you feel like it was legit, then call your doctor directly, call your insurance company directly, right? But you can't interact with the person on the phone. You can't trust it at face value anymore. And I guarantee you that if you hang up the phone and call back your doctor, they're going to say that was the right thing to do, right? They understand it. They deal with this stuff all day. Hey, Matthew Barons, what's up? Welcome to the live stream. Good to see you. It was good to see you. So next scam, we're going to talk about bank impersonation scams. Well, we mentioned this a few times in passing on the live stream already, but let's dive into it a little bit more, right? The scammers impersonate the bank, usually claiming suspicious activity was detected under a victim's account. Victims are then tricked into withdrawing and transferring funds to the scammers impersonating their bank. The caller ID might even display the bank's phone number, even though it's a scammer. And it probably will, because a lot of reports coming in about the caller ID shows a bank on it. And again, the scammer might even know what bank to impersonate. So it's very believable. They'll call you up and they'll say there's suspicious activity or they're investigating fraud. Sometimes they'll say that you need to secure your account by transferring money. You know, a lot of times they'll say Zelle. You have to transfer through Zelle, which is a red flag. Sometimes they'll say illegal activity was detected and they're going to hold you responsible. They'll say something like guns were purchased or drugs were purchased or something was done under your bank account, right? But these are all part of the scam narrative to scare you, right? And what we have here is a text message example of a bank impersonation scam, because this is one of those scams where you are being targeted from all directions. Text messages, emails, phone calls. The scammers are targeting you from all directions impersonating your bank, right? So as you can see from this text message, it says, verify TD Bank card activity. Did you attempt a transaction for $250 at Walgreens? Reply yes if recognized or no if not. Well, this is a scam. They're trying to get you to reply no because you didn't spend $250 at Walgreens. It's very unlikely, right? So they're trying to get you to reply no. And then what's going to happen is they're going to follow up with you and start impersonating the bank. They're going to call you up, tell you somebody's gotten into your bank account, right? And the victim's going to believe it because they think that there's been a transaction. So you can't trust random messages like this. And there is a story behind this example. The person that provided this example, this text message example, they actually got a phone call right before receiving this text message, right? A phone call, and the caller ID said TD Bank under caller ID. They didn't answer the call, and immediately after, they get this text message, right? So that's a good example of how scammers, they'll be persistent. They'll try the phone first, then they'll send you a text message after. You don't be fooled by the persistence. And again, these are one of these scams where phone calls, text messages, emails, all directions. And we have a victim's story here that I'd like to share. And in her case, she fell for a phone call impersonating the bank. She put, I feel so stupid. This young Connecticut woman had her bank account drained by scammers after answering trusted Wells Fargo number. Right? So in her case, her trouble began when she saw a familiar phone number on her caller ID. She said, I got a call from a Wells Fargo number saying I had fraudulent activity on my account and that a random person was being sent money from Zelle. They told me to secure my account by sending money that would go back to my account right after. Right? So that's how they got her. And the thing was, she believed it because she saw Wells Fargo on the caller ID. She didn't realize that scammers can manipulate the caller ID. So it's very important to be aware of. Yeah, scammers can manipulate caller ID. And just because it says it's Wells Fargo, that doesn't mean it is. You still have to hang up. And again, with these bank scams, call the number on the back of your bank card, right? This is one of the easy ones to debunk, right? Whether it's an email, text, phone call, don't engage. Instead, call the number on the back of your ATM card, on the back of your bank card, right? So, and again, notice this, this victim was a young woman, right? I was pointing that again because the younger folks out there, they think, it was only older folks getting scammed, but no, there's a lot of examples I'm sharing are all younger people, right? So, hey, Eva, welcome to the live stream. Always good to see you. David says, thank you for the awareness on scams and the fight against scammers. Hey, we're all in it together. Gotta spread the word, right? Also, we put this little infographic together about this bank impersonation scam. The scammers provide a cover story. They'll tell victims to lie to bank tellers sometimes because they'll say that they're doing an investigation and the bank teller could be in on it. So you can't tell her what's going on because they'll blow the investigation. And it's that clever way to try and get victims to stay silent. Sometimes victims think that they're like working for the FBI now. And they're working like this is part of an investigation and they're going in there thinking they're all part of this sting operation. And they're getting scammed. They don't even realize it. So don't be fooled by these bank impersonation scams. Just call your bank directly. Use the number on the back of your card. You can never be too safe. It's not worth the risk trusting phone calls, emails, text. Next scam we're going to talk about here. Wrong number scams. This is when scammers reach new victims by sending text messages to random phone numbers. So if you ever wonder why you get so many text messages, wrong number text messages, this is why. It's a scam. Now, what they're trying to do is when someone replies, wrong number, or who is this, the scammer attempts to continue the conversation and build a trust with the victim. As trust is gained, this type of scam usually evolves into a romance or pig butchering scam that ultimately steals money from the trusting victim. For anybody that was here earlier in the live stream, we talked about romance scams, pig butchering scams, and how they could start from just a message on social media, right? A comment on social media, or just a random text message that you get on your phone. It's a very common scam. These scammers, they're sending out hundreds and thousands of text messages known as a spray and pray scam, right? They're just sending out hundreds and thousands of text messages, and they know that it's a numbers game. A certain amount of people are going to reply back and say, "Who is this?" or "You have the wrong number," right? And this works in multiple ways, right? By replying, the scammer now knows that your number is active, so they know to target you with more scams. So you're gonna add you to a bunch more lists. You're gonna get sent a bunch more scam text messages. So even just replying to say, "Who is this?" or "Wrong number," now you made yourself more of a target. Right. So that's why my recommendation is don't even reply to wrong numbers. Right. Even if you think it's a legit wrong number, I don't reply. You know, it's sad because, you know, some of us want to be kind and let others know and just be nice. But at the same time, 99% of the time, it's going to be scammed. It's not worth replying. Right. The person will figure out it's a wrong number if it's a really wrong number. But here's some examples and why this scam is so dangerous. It can start with anything. It can start like, "Hey, Anna, I'm Josie." Or "Excuse me, this is Emma," or "Have a cup of coffee together sometime," right? Because purpose is for you to reply back and say, "Who is this?" or "You have the wrong number." So it could literally be any random message, could say anything. Like the idea is to get you to reply, "Who is this?" You know. And here's an example of how this conversation might go. And again, it's a real example. Right? This one just started out with a message that says, "Hi." That's all. "Hi." Right? So we reply back, "Hi, who's this?" Message says, "I'm Karina. Are you David? We met last week at Linda's party. You picked this number for me. Hi, sorry, you have the wrong number." Okay. At that point, conversation should end. Right? It's been established they have a wrong number. Okay. But they keep going because it's a scam. "Oh my gosh, I checked and found out I entered the wrong area code. I hope this doesn't bother you." That's okay. No problem. Again, conversation should end. It's been established as a wrong number, but it won't because it's a scammer. They're going to keep going. "Thank you very much. You're a very friendly and polite person. I hope we could be friends. Nice to meet you. My name is Karina. What can I call you?" Right. So now you're going to try to get your information. You're going to try to get your name. Right. And then we replied back, "Pat." And then he said, "You have a beautiful name. I'm from Malaysia and currently living in Los Angeles. Where do you live?" Now they're asking where you live. Right. See where this is going? They're asking your name. They're going to ask where you live. Based on what your name is, they're going to know if you're a male or female. Right. They're going to ask your age. They're going to start trying to get information about you. And this is meant to, one, decide what scam they're going to target you with. Right. But two, they're also going to try to build up a friendship, right? This is one of these long-term deception scams I mentioned a little bit earlier, right? They're going to try to be your friend, right? And they might spend a week or two trying to build up this friendship with you, but, you know, just message you every day. "How was your day?" This and that, right? And it all starts from a wrong number. Something as innocent seeming as a wrong number, it can lead to having your entire retirement life savings taken. Okay. And this is one of those examples too, where a lot of times look at the conversation going, and they'll try to get you to continue talking on WhatsApp, right? We mentioned that in the red flags. You never want to, you know, trust someone who's telling you to go download an app and to keep talking on it. So be aware of this one. This one is, again, like I can't overstate this. Something as innocent as a wrong number text message, it really could lead to your entire life savings getting taken. And I do want to share one more example of that one with you. So here's another one. "Hi, Byron, I'm Jane." And this one actually attaches a picture, right? And the reason I share this example is because, one, you can see how they attach a picture. And look, we can see right through this, right, folks? You're all fans of Scamware 101. You're following Scamware 101. We can see through this, right? We know what they're trying to do. They're trying to get someone thinking it's their lucky day. Oh, great. You know, they reply back, but it's part of the scam. Now, what's interesting about this scam too, another reason I share it, is because you see the initial message comes in at 1:58 p.m., right? Where she says, "Hi, Byron, I'm Jane." Didn't reply, knew it was a scam. Well, 4 hours later on the dot, 5:58 p.m., right? First message at 1:58, no reply, 5:58, 4 hours on the dot, the follow-up message. "Have you gotten the pictures I sent?" Now, the reason why I point out that's 4 hours to the dot is because this is a bot. This isn't even a real person sending these messages, right? There's a bot that's sending the same message, the same picture to hundreds of thousands of phone numbers. And then anybody that doesn't reply, it's programmed 4 hours later, send the follow-up message. "Have you gotten the pictures I sent?" Right? It's a bot. It's not even a real person. Right? So eventually, the people that reply and start answering the questions, eventually it gets handed off to a real scammer, a real person, and they're going to continue to decide to do a romance scam or investment scam. but it starts off as a bot, right? And we did a video about these wrong number scams on our YouTube channel here. Bear with me while I load it here. And it's actually our most popular video on our YouTube channel. It got over 102,000 views. Right, wrong number scam, text message scams, 102,000 views. We released it about a year ago. But what was interesting about this is, as you can see, we had this scam example. We used a scam example, and multiple people left comments saying that they got the exact same message, exact same picture, right? That's what they're doing. That's how that works. So don't be fooled by this. You know, any of the lonely folks out there, don't get suckered into this thinking it's your lucky day. Oh, and by the way, this image is probably AI generated too. So keep that in mind as well. The image is probably isn't even of a real person. The message isn't being sent by a real person. These are all automated bots. It's all AI. So don't fall for it. Be aware. Dave, thank you. $5. Well, that's the super chat. I always forget, is it super thanks or super chat? I always forget what it's called. But thank you so much, Dave. $5. Always appreciate you, man. And you're a member too, paying the monthly membership. You're awesome, man. I can't thank you enough. And by the way, anybody that you heard the songs we're playing before on the break and they're in the intro, those are actually Dave. Dave made some of those theme songs, so really cool songs there. Always appreciate that. Zangai. I'm not sure if I'm saying that one right, but that's another red flag too. That's like a gaming chat app, right? Matthew, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not too familiar with that, but they're not like a gaming and chat. But yeah, and also again, keep in mind they're gonna try to get you to keep talking onto a third-party chat app. So be suspicious. You get these random text messages. My advice: don't even reply back. No, because even if you reply back, then they know to target you more. So watch out for them. Be aware of them. All right, we got a couple more. We got two more types of scams we're going to talk about here. And then we're going to go check out the AARP scam tracking map, which is actually the scam tracker map is sometimes my favorite portion of the live stream. So if it's your first time here, stick around for a scam tracker map, because that's going to be fun. But we got two more scams we're going to talk about here, and then we're going to roll into that. So this next scam we're going to talk about, and I was surprised when I found this one. Went out recently, but so it's faith-based group leader impersonation scams. And what I mean by that is scammers pose as trusted religious leaders, such as priests, rabbis, or pastors, to deceive members of their community. They'll reach out with an urgent request, usually requesting gift cards, right? There's that red flag where it's a gift card. And what they do is they create these fake email addresses. Sometimes they hack the email address of the priest, the rabbi, or pastor. So the request might come from their legit email too, right? But what they also do is they'll create email addresses that look like they're from your faith leader, right? They'll create a Gmail address or a free Outlook.com address or where they'll create a free address, right? And they'll just reverse the letter or put a dot in the name. They'll make it look like it's your actual leader, right? So, and here are some reports about that. All recent, from this year, from a couple months ago in January, right? And all different faith-based organizations. Whether you're Catholic, Jewish, Christian, it don't matter. These scammers, they're not discriminating. They'll take your money regardless of what religion you are. So this is important to be aware of. So warn the members of your group. If you're a member of a church, warn your church members. Whatever congregation you're a member of, a synagogue or anything, make sure your members are aware of this. Make sure the leaders are aware of this too. Right? It's good for them to make announcements to their congregation to warn them about this type of scam. But look, don't take it from me. Here's 4 reports, which was just a few reports. I just grabbed 4 of them. There were many more than 4. But contacted by our pastor. He needed help getting some Apple gift cards for cancer patients in the hospital. Right? How low is that? right? The scammer sends an email. He creates a fake email address, looks like it's a pastor, sends an email to all the, the members, right? And he says he needs gift cards for cancer patients. How terrible is that, right? But that's what they're doing. And what happens is, you figure, well, I could trust my pastor to pay me back. I could trust my priest to pay me back. Sure, I'll go purchase, all these gift cards. As soon as you send pictures of the gift cards, that's it. You just got scammed out of money. All right, so there's a report about the pastor. Here's another one. The person impersonates a pastor from our church in South San Francisco. Asked to send money for Brazil because he had a personal emergency. So in this case, the scammer is impersonating the pastor, and he's emailing, members of the congregation saying that he's in Brazil and needs, has an emergency. Could you help? Right, but it's all part of a scam. There's another one. I received an email that appears to be from my priest. He asked me to buy 10 Amazon gift cards immediately. He needed to send them out. Right, so think about that. 10 Amazon gift cards, probably $500 each. That's a $5,000 scam, right? And the email will say that they'll reimburse you and everything. So sure, think, well, if you can't trust your priest to reimburse you, who could you trust? You know what I mean? So a lot of people are getting scammed by this. That's a $5,000 scam. 10 gift cards, 10 $500 Amazon gift cards. Poof, $5,000 gone. Someone saying they were my rabbi, asking me to get 5 Target gift cards, $500 each, for sick people. Right, that's the narrative they do. They'll say something like, I'm on my way to a hospital to meet with a bunch of sick people or cancer patients, sick children, right? And they'll say, can you run to a store and purchase 10 $500 gift cards? I want to give them to the people. Send me an email, take pictures and send them to me. It's all a scam, right? So here you go. There's 4 examples: impersonating pastors, impersonating priests, impersonating rabbis. Right? Don't fall for it. Oh, by the way, it's probably a good time to mention, one of the things we do over here at Scamware 101 as far as making money and staying around is we do offer group presentations. So consider, talking to your church, your synagogue, whichever, your community group, HOAs, senior centers. We do group presentation. We'll do a remote presentation, about an hour and a half long. We have a Q&A with the members of the group. Right. We did one a couple months ago for a synagogue. There's 25 members on, did Q&A afterwards. It went really well. So that is one of the things that we do to spread awareness, and we do group presentations. So consider that. We'd always appreciate, reach out to us, and we'd talk some more about it. But anyway, back to this protecting yourself from this type of scam. So the examples I'm using, the scammers are impersonating rabbis, priests, and pastors, basically religious leaders. But the same thing still applies. They use the same trick. They'll impersonate your friend, your family members, right? Sometimes, I can't tell you how many times people on my Facebook have gotten hacked, and suddenly I get a message from a friend who I haven't heard from in years. They're like, "Hey, can you lend me $500?" I'm like, dude, we went to high school together. I haven't talked to you in 20 years. You asked me for $500? This is a scam. They got hacked, right? So even if the notification comes from someone from a legit email address, you still have to confirm it. Anything involving money, telling you to send money, right? You have to confirm it. So first, inspect the email address carefully and see if it's even the real email address. Again, a lot of times these faith-based impersonation scams, they just create fake email addresses that they'll leave one letter off or whatever. And you can tell right away it's from a fake email, right? But again, sometimes they actually hack into the email. So you might get an email that's actually from the email address of your friend or family member. You still shouldn't trust it. Any request for money, what you want to do is you want to verify through a second channel, right? You get an email like that or a text message like that. Well, you don't pick up the phone and call the person. Actually talk to them on a phone, hear their voice, and have a conversation with them. Granted, AI is cloning voices now, so it's even harder, but still, you have to go through the second verification level. You know what I mean? And the third thing is gift cards, right? Always a red flag. Always a red flag. Any mention of gift cards, no matter how innocent it seems, you'd be shocked how the clever ways that these scammers try to trick you into purchasing gift cards. Right. So any mention of a gift card, be suspicious. So, all right. So watch out for those. This faith-based organization impersonation scams, where the scammers are impersonating priests, pastors, rabbis. Don't trust it. And the last scam example that we actually had 2 examples, right? But crypto exchange impersonation scams. I don't know if anybody here is messing with crypto or not, but Coinbase and Gemini are two major crypto exchanges, right? So for people that buy and sell Bitcoin or other crypto, they usually have a Coinbase account or a Gemini account. There's a couple other ones, but those are two big ones, right? And these scams, they pretty much work the same way that these bank scams work. You get a phone call or an email or text, and it claims something suspicious is going on in your account. Right, so I have two examples of phone calls here that I'm going to play for you. The first is actually a short conversation that I had with a scammer that was impersonating Coinbase. So I'll play that one for you. And then after that, I have another one of a voicemail that was left by a scammer that was impersonating Gemini. All right, so let's take a listen to these two examples here. This first one is a Coinbase impersonation scam.
This is about your crypto accounts or Coinbase, your digital asset platform account.
Oh, sure. What's going on?
Well, sir, with our file, there is a registered Coinbase account under your information, and we have your request that there's a request of changing your primary email address from this account. So we are calling you for the verification whether are you the one who authorizing this request to change your email or not.
No, that wasn't me.
Okay. So when was the last time you were active to your Coinbase account? Do you remember that?
I'm not sure. Can't you tell from over there?
Well, sir, right now, as I can see, there are some of the recent login we have detected by our server. And as I can see, the requests which are coming from, it is from the different IP location in foreign country, in Mexico.
Oh,
and the next login we have found, it is in the New Jersey. So among these two locations, can you please verify me which one could be a recent or it could be a last location from where you have monitored your account? Is that from New Jersey or it is from the Mexico, the country?
I travel, so it might have been both.
They didn't like that answer. They hung up when I gave that answer. But but something that I want to point out here is that, they mentioned New Jersey. And I lived in New Jersey most of my life. So when they mentioned New Jersey, I was kind of like, they must have had, my information or whatever. But what's interesting is my phone number is New Jersey phone number, right? So I think this is a good example of what they do is the number that they're calling, they look at what the area code is and they say that state. Okay, it's New Jersey phone number. So we're going to say New Jersey. It's one of those clever tricks, that they use to try and sound more convincing, right? It's like, well, they knew I was in New Jersey. Maybe this really is Coinbase. No, it's a scam, right? So watch out for phone calls like that. You get calls like that, the same rule applies. Hang up and then reach out directly to Coinbase, to confirm if you're concerned that's legit. Here's another one. This one impersonates Gemini. This is just a quick recording of a voicemail that was left, but it's a good example. Here you go.
This is an automated call from Gemini. A new device has logged in from Singapore. If this was not made by you, press 1 to be connected to one of our representatives.
Right, so very similar to the bank scam where it just says we detected suspicious activity or someone logged into your account from another country, right? So, watch out for these types of scams, whether it's a bank or your crypto exchange or any type of account claiming something like this. It's a classic example of suspicious activity and then them trying to scam you. All right, cool. So that's it for all the scam examples we're going to go over this evening, but we're not done yet. We got about 15 more minutes left here. And it's actually going to be one of my favorite parts of the live stream where we check out the AARP scam tracker map, which we'll do in a minute, but I'm just going to count how many scams went over this evening here real quick. We started early today, 5:45 we started. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So we got 21 scams listed here. And some of the scams actually were broken down. Like we talked to social media, that was actually 3 separate scams in the social media. So we talked about between 25, 30 scams we went over this evening so far. Not bad for a 2 hours and 15 minutes we've been going. We start at 5:45. So there we go. Not too shabby. But like I said, we're not done yet. But first, so we've got 15 more minutes left. If you haven't hit that like button yet, take a minute, hit that like button real quick. It really does help. And make sure to follow us on social media, YouTube, Blue Sky, X, Facebook, Threads, Instagram, whichever ones that you use. You know, even if you don't use the accounts that often, hop in real quick, give us a quick like and follow. It really does help. We appreciate it. Don't forget to join the free mailing list, scamaware101.com. They hit join mailing list, free to join. And, of course, we accept donations, scamaware101.com/donate. We have the super thanks enabled over on YouTube, memberships over on YouTube. Dave, thank you again for the $5 super thanks or super chat, whatever it's called. Always appreciate you. And we got the merch store too. So don't forget to check out our merch store. We've got the coffee mugs there, mouse pads, water bottles, stickers. Just slap them around town. But let's go check out some AARP scam tracking map. So over on our website, we have a lot of resources listed as well here on scamware101.com. And we have a tools and software page. So we click tools and software. Lots of useful links here, by the way. I'm not going to go over this page this week. I'll go over this page next week. Every other week I usually go over this page. But definitely check it out, though. If you're going to be on the website, check out our tools and software page. Lots of useful things here. But the link all the way on the bottom of the page, the last link we have is the AARP scam tracking map. We're going to head on over there. Now, this is a great resource to see what scam reports are coming in recently. Most of the reports here are going to be within a day or two old, right? So let's see here. Yep, here we are. It's all these reports that are listed came in yesterday, right? So what's cool about the scam tracking map is, one, you could see all where reports are coming in throughout the country. But again, keep in mind, if a scam's in one state, it's probably in all the other states, right? But what's interesting is you can actually see, as of yesterday, what scams people are still reporting and receiving. So you kind of measure a little bit what scams are picking up, which scams are slowing down. Sometimes reports give some additional details of some new scam narratives that they're trying out or some things that they said. So there's lots of good info in these scam reports. So what we usually do is, on the live stream, the last thing we do is we'll spend like the last 15 minutes or so. We'll check out some of these recent reports and we see what people are saying. And we'll also see if, you know, the scams we covered, you know, are still pretty common scams, or if there's some scams we should spend a little extra time on here that maybe we didn't mention. So let's take a look here. So this first report, it came in yesterday. Message left on my phone to call bank and authorize transaction for phone. Scam, scam, scam. Okay. Didn't give too much details there, but look, you get a phone call. It says it's your bank, right? They said a purchase was made for a phone. It sounds like a classic example of fake order scam, right? Or bank impersonation scam. You know, all to be aware of. Right? We talked about the fake order scams earlier. You know, you get those messages. Don't press 1. Don't call a number. You know, check out your account directly. You know, in this case, they're claiming to be the bank. So you do call the number on the back of your bank card. Don't call the number they tell you to call, right? Instead, call the number on the back of your bank card. But we already covered this topic, and look, as long as scams exist, they're going to be impersonating banks, right? So let's see what this next one is. I don't answer calls if I don't recognize the caller's number. I let the call go to voicemail, and the beginning of the message was cut off. A recording said someone has bought a PlayStation 5 game console on my Walmart account, and I'm supposed to call them back if I did not authorize. That's great. That's the example that we actually just played for you, right? When we were talking about the fake order scams, I played they were impersonating Walmart, claiming you had a PlayStation purchased. So there we go. People are reporting them, right? So that it just goes to show the stuff we're covering, these are all active scams. And it just verifies it. The same exact scam still going around, the same voicemails going around. That Walmart impersonation scam, that was probably maybe a year old at this point, right? It's still active and circulating. As of yesterday, people reporting it. Awesome. That's right. Liz got the Scamaware water bottle. It's really adorable. And she got a sticker. Awesome. Another satisfied customer. Business imposter scam. Geek Squad. This one's worth mentioning. It's funny. This one's been going on for years. But it's an email that you get. And they claim that your Geek Squad subscription is being renewed for a few $100s. In fact, I think I have an example of this one I can actually share with you real quick. This one was set to one of my old email addresses here. But it's an email that impersonates Geek Squad. It says that your subscription is going to renew. Or in this case, it was $375, they say. And then it has a number to call to cancel. Right? This is kind of like a fake order scam. Right? It's a fake renewal scam. They're trying to trick you into thinking that you're going to get charged $375. So you better call this number to cancel, or right? But it's all part of a scam. You call that number, and you're actually going to be talking to a scammer, not Geek Squad. So that's what this scam report is talking about here. And again, this one was reported yesterday. And let me see, this scam example I just showed too, January 16th, 2025. So this is about a year and a half old, this example. But it's still being reported as of yesterday. That's circulating. All right, so anything from Geek Squad, be suspicious. So far, so good. All good scam examples here. So this person says, I didn't give much details. Call saying I bought a car and tried to obtain social security number. All right. I would love to have a little bit more information about that and heard the narrative where how they go from you bought a car to give me your social security number, but you get a call like that. You know what? That's probably one of those scams where it's a numbers game. They figure so many people probably have bought in a car, right? And they know if they're calling or probably auto calling, playing the same recording to hundreds of thousands of people, they know a certain amount of those people probably purchased a new car recently, right? So that's probably how that scam works. I'm interested, and then they probably say we need to confirm your social security number or something like that. But that's very suspicious. Be aware of that one. You know, if you recently bought a new car and suddenly you get a call claiming, hey, you bought your new car, but we need to, be aware of that one. Because I can see how someone who did buy a car, you suddenly get a call about that new car you bought, you're more likely to be like, well, this must be real. What's the chances of that? Well, when they're calling 100,000 people playing the same message, the chances are pretty good, right? That's a scam. There we go. Medicare plans. Person calling to change Medicare plan. This is what you were just talking about, Liz. They didn't give any more details about it, but it's a report, right? Person calling to change Medicare plans, and that's it, unfortunately. But that's exactly what you were saying before. And Dave warning how, they call outside of the registration period, or enrollment period. Company, Jelly Lean, advertises gummy that will act as a weight loss guarantee. Yeah, okay, so I usually don't do specific companies or anything like that, but this one's actually talking about AI images of celebrities. So this is kind of related to what we talk about here. And we should spend a minute on this because this is a great example of how they're using AI now. So this report says company Jelly Lean advertises gummy that will act as weight loss guarantee, whatever, yada, yada. AI images of celebrities like Jillian Michaels promoting this product, promising rapid weight decrease, metabolism booster, etc. She wasn't happy with the product. That's fine, but reality testimonials. The reality of testimonials are extremely disturbing. Person mouth moving appropriately with words. Face is actually true. Sounds exactly like a celebrity endorsing. So what this is this is a good example of these fraudulent products. And these scammers use AI to generate celebrity endorsements, right? So they'll release a video, and in this case, it was Jillian Michaels, which is a celebrity fitness trainer. Jillian Michaels, I think she was on the Biggest Loser, that reality TV show, that weight loss TV show. But Jillian Michaels, right? So they're generating videos of Jillian Michaels promoting this bunk supplement, right? And it's a great example of how AI is being used now by scammers, because I see these all the time. I see fake products being endorsed by Elon Musk, on YouTube, but it's not really it's AI generated. It's not really Elon Musk. It's an AI generation, right? Dr. Oz. There's been so many supplements online that supposedly Dr. Oz is promoting, but it's not. It's AI generated of Dr. Oz promoting these. So when you see these promotions that actually have celebrities, they're saying buy this and do that, right? Be suspicious, because they are using AI to generate these fake videos of celebrities endorsing a product. So you can't trust those videos. But this is a good warning. Again, this isn't about like the product itself. This is more about how the scammer is using AI to promote these products. It's not really being, promoted by Jillian Michaels. It's not really being promoted by Elon Musk or Dr. Oz, right? That's AI. So be suspicious. We see a lot of these health supplement scams, and they create these fake promotions by celebrities. Just received a text on my phone saying legal notice of pending registration suspension. All right, this is probably the unpaid traffic ticket. South Carolina DMV related toll delinquency. All right, yeah. So there you go. The unpaid road toll scam that's still circulating. These text messages claiming you have an unpaid road toll. Right. In this case, this is South Carolina. Right. Once they're in one state, they're in them all. So we'll check out a few more reports there. We've got like 5 more minutes left. Let's see what other reports we got. Cryptocurrency scams and fraud. Here we go. I got a text with my Robinhood activation code, and then it told me if I didn't request it to call this number. I called it, and he asked if I've traveled to Greece, and I said no, and then he said I was all set. There we go. Right? It's a classic example. Robinhood is another exchange. I was talking before how Coinbase and Gemini, you also have Robinhood, which is a very popular exchange. And that's not just for crypto. You can actually trade stocks on Robinhood too. So in this type of scam, the person gets a text message, and it basically says that if this wasn't you, call back this number. Well, that's a scammer trying to trick them. Right? They're trying to make them think that somebody's logging into Robinhood, and they're trying to trick them into calling the scammer's phone number. And think about this. Once he gets on the phone with that scammer's objective is going to be to get into that Robinhood account. That means that once he's in a Robinhood account, he's going to cash out all the guy's stocks, steal his money, cash out all his crypto, steal his money, maybe deposit a whole bunch of money from his bank into the account and then withdraw it, right? Or transfer it. So, yeah, watch out for Robinhood. Scammers too. If anybody's trading stocks on Robinhood. Yep, Dave is saying fake Steve Harvey endorsing PCH. The publisher clearinghouse scams, right? We talked a little bit about the sweepstakes and lottery scams earlier. But yeah, they said that, Dave's saying they got fake Steve Harvey endorsing PCH. Oh, we got Little Mig 3. My patients fall for Medicare scams during the enrollment period. Most times they don't realize it happened until they come for their visit, and we tell them it's changed and can't see it. Wow. Yep. That's a shame. Gotta watch out for those Medicare scams, healthcare scams, anything to do with it. Auto-related scam. I received a text this morning saying it was from the state of Michigan for a traffic violation. All right, so same deal as getting a text about a fake traffic violation. This one's in Michigan. All right. Let's see what this one is. To the last couple here. Significant security alert. A suspicious attempt to access your account from unknown device and location. Verify if it was account charge 727 on Gemini through PayPal account. If not authorized, please call. All right, so this is actually a cool example. Notice how they mentioned Gemini. So it's kind of a crypto scam. Like I was mentioning earlier how Gemini is a crypto exchange. But they also mentioned PayPal, which that's super important to keep in mind, right? These scammers, they love sending emails that look like they're from PayPal. Sometimes they'll say you purchased Bitcoin, and if this wasn't you, call this number, right? They'll say you purchased it with your PayPal account, right? And you think you're calling PayPal, but you're actually calling a scammer, right? Or sometimes they'll say there's suspicious activity under your PayPal account, or important notice about your PayPal account. Anything mentioning PayPal, be suspicious, right? But there's an interesting combination of a fake order scam that involves Gemini and PayPal. Right? They kind of layer up the different companies there. check out these last two reports, and we'll probably get this wrapped up here. Placed an order with Me Flowers, and weeks after I was charged $200 on 2 bank cards without. So I'm not going to talk trash about any specific companies here, but what I will mention is that, especially with Mother's Day, I mean, it's kind of late. Well, no, it's not late yet, right? So flowers, ordering flowers online. We've been hearing a lot about fake retail websites to purchase flowers, right? And in this case, who knows if they went to the real website or not? I don't know if that's a legit website, but whatever the case, you're going to go to 1-800-Flowers, make sure you're actually on 1-800-Flowers or whatever the website is. Lots of reports coming in about people typing in. Oops, sorry, I was just looking at the chat here. Yeah, lots of stories about people typing in the wrong website, going to purchase flowers, and they get taken to a site that looks like a legit site, but it's not. And it's just another example of a fake retail scam, right? And this one picks up during Mother's Day and holidays because people are purchasing flowers, right? So be aware of that if you're purchasing flowers for any moms out there or any holiday in general. And speaking of fake retail websites, Dave's asking about the Domino's fake retail website because Dave actually reported that one. Yes, Dave, we covered that one earlier. We were talking about some fake retail websites here when we were talking about this one. It was pretty earlier towards the live stream. But yeah, we talked about the fake retail website, and I mentioned the Domino's one here. What's interesting about the Domino's one, that report was actually in Singapore, but it's another example about a lot of these scams that are in other countries. We have the same scams here. I always find that fascinating. Sometimes I'll read these news articles where it's like, and I realize after the fact, it's like in the UK or something. And it's like, well, that's the exact same type of scam that we're dealing over here with the US, right? But yeah, yep, we mentioned the Domino's scam earlier as another fake retail website, right? Just another clever way these scammers, okay, we'll put up some fake Domino's websites. We'll put up some fake flower websites. We'll put up some fake earpod websites. Right? And then people searching for Domino's end up on the fake website. So thank you for that one, by the way. I mentioned earlier, you didn't hear me, that's cool, but thank you. Since you didn't hear it early, thank you for sending it over. I always appreciate the examples you send over. And then we've got one more scam here. Let's see if it's a good one, this last one. They call all day, and if I block their number, still able to call. I answer the call many times, tell them to stop calling. Let's see what was this scam. Is it a good one or No, it doesn't say what this is about. No, let me just go to the next page. I want to end this on a good scam example. So let me see what the next page has. Oh, here we go. This is probably a good one. Actually, the next two are probably good. Yeah, I'm going to do the next two. So this one says, and this report came in 2 days ago, emails from Walmart and Target stating I won gift cards for Mother's Day, and to respond to email to claim my gift. Return email address did not come from Target or Walmart, and there was misspelling in the email. Interesting. I would have liked to hear what else evolved from that, but clearly it's a scam. You're getting emails about free gift cards from Walmart and Target. Be suspicious. And this is another good one to keep in mind for Mother's Day, right? It sounds like that's what the email said, that get these free gift cards for Mother's Day, but it's a scam, so be aware of it. Let's check out this last scam report here. Health-related scam. Received a call from Express Script, and it was not Express Script. They stated I won money on a card and asked for my information. I hung up. Well, there we go. That's a good scam to wrap up on here that we don't necessarily talk about, but it fits into a bunch of different variations, right? You get a call from Express Script, making you think that it's your pharmacy or something, right? And then they try to get you by saying you won money or a refund on your scripts. And then they immediately follow up by asking your information. So there you go. There's a couple examples there. There's the warning about getting a call related to Express Scripts, a kind of health related call. there's the mention of you won something, right? The fake sweepstakes, lottery, or prize. You won something, right? Always got to be suspicious. And then they ask for personal information, right? So clever little way to try and get information from you where they mix in your medical stuff and mix in a prize. You know, in this case, they probably knew the person used Express Script. And that's why I said Express Script. I'm not sure if that's something they would just do randomly. So the person probably uses Express Script, and the scammers knew that because information is out there. So it was targeted, but didn't fall for it. So you don't fall for it either. And I think that's about it for this live stream. It was a good live stream. Covered a lot. Lots of good examples. We shared some new examples earlier. And that's it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I appreciate you all. Every week, every Thursday, 5:45 p.m. Eastern, we're here spreading the word, waving the flag, spreading the word, getting awareness out there about these scams. Right? So, last chance, hit that like button if you haven't yet. Give me some last reactions before you wrap this live stream up. Make sure to follow us on your favorite social media. If you haven't joined the mailing list yet, join the mailing list. The best way to keep updated, scamaware101.com. That's all, folks. Everybody have a great weekend. I'll see you next week. Everybody stay safe out there. Happy Mother's Day. If any mothers there.